This is a story about the future, about science fiction, about a race of aliens who mysteriously and very rapidly conquered humanity on Earth, leaving them in a state of survival only in a very small community. But through the power of understanding human culture and emotion, these aliens will be able to slowly but surely understand the race they subjugated, empathize with them, and realize that coexistence and not conquering, is the key. I'm of course referring to the masterpiece that is Stephanie Meyer's The Host.
You know,
Sorry, audience. Once again, you have seen the date. You should probably expect what's happening. So, while we are happy that Megaton Musashi is being finally localized, at least in game format, you're not gonna get that today.
Did we really have to do them that dirty, though?
Yes.
Boy, I can't wait to see how you do them
is,
next
right?
year. You'd be forgiven for not knowing this existed because this is the failed follow-up to Twilight. Not in the sequel sense, but this was literally the next thing Stephanie Meyer did after finally and mercifully ending the Twilight series for the time being, since she's trying to revive that again with the perspectives of Edward. But regardless, you may have noticed that Stephanie Meyer has had something of a slump, if not outright block, in her career.
That's because the 50 Shades series took over her
I mean,
spot.
this film came out 4 months after Breaking Dawn Part 2.
Now, okay, a bit of context here. This is The Host. You would think that with Stephanie Meyer, despite the controversy, having a series that was pretty much crapping out money left and right, that The Host would be a surefire hit, as her deepest fans would come running in droves because, let's be honest, The Host feels like Twilight's take on the Body Snatchers. And oh boy, would you be sadly or happily wrong, because
140 million, recouping 63.3.
and that's just the movie. As for the book series, the actual first book came out in 2008. Again, not too long after the Breaking Dawn parts.
And by first book, you mean the only book, because even though she had 2 sequels, apparently this was going to be a trilogy of books, according to her, she never actually got around to writing the other 2.
The last we heard about it was in February 2011 when she said she had outlines for the sequels and had done some writing for them. And seeing as how we are now officially past the decade mark since the first book came out, they are pretty much in Last Airbender sequel territory. Ergo, probably not going to happen, despite how much the maker insisted it was going to happen.
And considering most of the actors have moved on and one of them sadly passed away, yeah.
So, one might wonder, what happened with the Host series that would make it so that even a fan base of series or ironic fans would suddenly make them turn up their noses and go, yeah, no thanks to this? Well,
that's a second bout of tragedy involving this movie. The one who adapted into a movie screenplay and also directed the movie is Andrew Niccol. If you don't know who Andrew Niccol is, you probably don't know his name, but you know his work. He made one of Jim Carrey's all-time great movies, Truman Show. Specifically, he wrote that. He also directed Gattaca.
A movie we probably would be interested in, Shirei, because it discusses also how biased and ableist the system can be when it comes to allowing for sci-fi missions.
Here's the problem, though, Shiroi. 6 years after that, he directed an incredibly shitty sci-fi movie called In Time.
With Justin Timberlake.
That movie is basically just a barrage of terrible time puns.
I swear, I have not heard of that film before.
And now he made this. There you go. He went from making The Truman Show to adapting a Stephanie Meyer novel.
But hey,
his career went down.
Hey,
mind you, it doesn't even seem like it was just grabbed and typecast in. Like this, both director and writer of the movie with Stephanie Meyer's blessing. I get the idea he intentionally wanted to get his hands on this. So.
There's actually a Fandango behind-the-scenes interview of the 2 of them. What happened was when they started this, when the producer and Stephanie Meyer started looking for directors, the producer asked Stephanie Meyer, "So what are your favorite sci-fi movies?" And she mentioned Gattaca and Truman Show. Okay.
Of
For as
course.
much as for as much shade as I throw at you, Stephanie, I will give you this. You have
You have
good taste in
some
movies.
good taste.
You have good taste in movies, at least.
That being
Fine.
said,
I'll give you that one.
that being
Anyway.
said, the director probably should have had some warning bells going on, because one thing you may have noticed about this movie was that it was not backed by any of the mainstream film studios. Pretty much no major film studio. Not Disney, not Warner Brothers, not Universal, not DreamWorks, heck, not even Summon Entertainment, the people that helped make Twilight such a household name in Hollywood, wanted anything to do with this movie. At best,
yeah,
Universal
finished,
kind of distributed some of the movies later on in home media. Go on.
Yes, Pedro?
But yeah, after that, what happened was Stefan. After that, the producer of the movie, even told her, "Well, actually, that's kind of funny. I'm friends with Andrew Niccol," and Stephanie immediately said, "Well, that would be the dream choice." And yeah, I guess In Time failed so hard that in order to keep himself at work, he had to accept this job.
Again,
Oh, mighty have fallen.
Again, he must have been desperate because, like I said, no major film studio wanted anything to do with this movie. They had to go to an independent film studio, Open Road Films.
But anyway, we can actually see for ourselves this travesty in emotion in sequential art.
Yes.
But because of a difference in versions, because apparently in the UK, no one wants to actually broadcast this movie, not even on streaming services, despite the fact that apparently most of Europe has it on Amazon Prime, apparently. So the immediate start of the movie, a black screen before we cut to space, with the narration of William Hurt. And no, you're not watching Lost in Space 1998, trust me. So start before that. In 3, 2, 1, click.
Hey, you want to know one more bout of tragedy? This was the last movie that Roger Ebert would ever get to review properly.
Oh, yeah, the Earth is at peace. Yeah, keep that in mind for later.
This is a big lie.
Wait.
Everything
Pedro.
that gets said in this opening narration is basically going to get
Wait. Guys.
This planet's a mess.
As you can imagine, William Hurt also once again forgot to pack his acting.
Guys,
Not just the,
Guys, William Hurt with an opening narration about how the Earth is at
I already
peace, even though
mentioned
that's
similarity,
BS.
Joe,
But no,
Lost in Space, yeah.
this might as well be that. But
That's the
yeah,
thing, Sheila. Remember, this is not
At
the
least
Earth
the
as you
title
know
is
it.
creative,
This is the Earth after it's been conquered by an alien race who, according to themselves, they don't fight. They have no.
and apparently, just conquering us basically removed war, traffic accidents, and all the such.
And yeah, you're
What's
possessed by
happened
an
to your
alien.
eyes?
That's the symbol of why you're possessed by the alien.
Yeah, when an alien is inside your mind, Shiro, your eyes get like that, basically.
Well, make them stop.
Pedro, I got a question actually.
Go on.
Why is it not just in this movie and not just for Stephanie Meyer films, but for practically every film like that and this around this time? Why does at least seeing on the poster, why is it all the male main actors look identical to each other?
Oh, you think that's funny? There's me and Vanessa once again went to watch this movie opening night for date night, and guess what? It got to a point where Vanessa herself even had to turn to me and go, "Wait, which of the two is this again?" Like she herself lost track.
And we start immediately with our main character, Saoirse Ronan, trying to commit suicide by jumping off a building.
This movie, immediately it becomes incredibly confusing because, the movie doesn't so much start as much. We kind of seems like we start in the middle.
Also,
we don't even know who the hell this girl is.
Also, we mentioned about Saoirse Ronan. I'm sorry, what is Diane Kruger doing in this? She is much better than whatever this is.
Those gambling debts are not going to pay themselves now, are they? But okay. I understand that we had that opening narration by William Hurt, but I don't know. I feel like we need more of a prologue. Like we literally start
more of a tranquil jumping into action. Yeah.
We literally start in the middle.
Oh wait, hold on, this
Melanie
line
being
coming.
chased
Oh,
by
this.
aliens.
Hold on.
Oh yeah, this bit.
That's
See,
exactly
Shiro,
why she jumped out of the
If
window to
you-
kill herself. Because she
jump
wanted to
yourself from your-
live.
If you jump from a window and actually die, it's because you don't have enough will to live. How is it possible that both this and I Know Who Killed Me managed to have a dialogue that makes the one in Star Wars Episode 3 Shakespeare in comparison about the will to live?
I mean, no.
How is it
We're
possible?
off to a fantastic start.
Okay.
Oh, it gets better. Shiro,
Trust
by
me,
that
Shiro,
I mean
it gets
worse.
better.
So here's the
Trust me,
process.
Shiro. If you watch this movie as a comedy, this is hilarious.
So
I'm
here's
sure.
the problem.
I'm already seeing it
They
as such.
they cut your neck, then they take this pod, which arrives via interstellar traveler.
Oh, this bit. Are you ready to
This
see?
one wants to live. Let me just slice that neck open.
Are you
Yeah,
ready to
that's
Because
see?
we need to insert
These are the-
the alien. These are alien parasites as a race.
This
That's
is their
what they
true
actually look like.
form. Terrible CGI monstrosities.
This, again, and again, I want to bring up the terrible world building in this movie. How exactly did the aliens take over Earth exactly, considering they apparently don't
Well,
look exactly
this
like
is
they're
mentioned. This is mentioned in the book, but apparently Andrew Niccol thought it was not too important to mention it. Apparently, they arrive here via spaceship while controlling the bodies of giant spiders.
Huh.
No, not even kidding. The only reason why it
Wonderful.
chose humanity as new host is because the giant spiders have very short longevity spans.
So, did they have the spiders operate surgical equipment to start?
Apparently, it's just
So
that
basically-
stupid and poorly explained. So don't
Yeah,
worry.
basically it's like this. Every human is always being hunted down by the aliens, so that they can put themselves into their bodies. Hence the name, the host. The humans are literally the hosts of these
And
parasites.
there you go. This is what happens. Your irises start glowing like that.
You know, they kind of
this
look.
is the end of the movie.
Listen to this. Listen to this. I love this.
Yeah.
Healer forts.
Wait, this bit.
Yeah, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What name this creature has?
Bob.
She's a
Hold on,
wanderer.
Joe. Hold on. Oh, you mean Cole?
No, hold on.
Oh no.
My God, you could drive a truck through those gaps in
Pedro.
dialogue.
As a reminder, just to ask this question: what's a stupider name, Wanderer or Story?
What's Cypher Rage?
I mean, for as on the nose that it is, at least I understand why the character is called Story. This just feels like lazy writing.
Okay.
At least, like, you can give her the nickname Wanda.
It's
Actually,
funny you mention
Funny you
that.
mentioned that.
It's funny you mentioned that, Shiro.
But for the
okay.
time being, Wanderer has to, I guess, adapt to this new body.
But yeah, no, like Pedro mentioned, this is worse than the name Story. Don't get me wrong, Story was a stupid name, but at least it fit the purposes of, well, the story of Lady in the Water. This is just Stephanie Meyer being sucky with names.
About the intro.
Although, it's important to remember, it's still a better name than Renesmee. At
Yes.
least.
But here's a twist. The original person which Wanderer usurped the body of is still alive inside as a conscience.
I
Now
have
keep
something
in
to
mind,
say
this
about
has
this,
apparently
but,
never happened before.
Yeah, I was about to mention that, but first, Shiro, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, about the intro, I don't think they were lying. It just seems that the narrator is an alien themselves. It seems like unreliable.
spoiler
It seems like an unreliable narrator kind of thing going
Allow
on.
me to interrupt you right there because everything that you just assumed is actually wrong. Sorry, Shiro, that's not it.
Well, fuck you, movie. I tried.
Okay, here's the thing, Shuri.
We just started.
Here's the thing, Shuri. Like in Lost in Space, the narration opens suggesting that everything is nice and peaceful. That's all a lie. And given the character, okay, assuming that's William Hurt's character, he has no reason to lie to us on that, so that could just be about stupidity on the writer's sake.
So yeah, the reason why
Remember, Jova, never attribute to malice what can be easily attributed to stupidity.
So yeah, the reason the aliens captured this human and put a host in there is not just for their conquering scheme, but also for the sake of her potentially tracking down the potential base of the human resistance by accessing the memories of the host.
Now, I just want to remind you that this is
And
not...
yes, the human character is called Melanie Strider.
Melanie Strider. And yes, we have Twilight-style flashbacks even. Great. Basically, I wanted to
Vaseline.
address that. And yes, like Jova mentioned before, you're telling. And once again, I have to ask this because my wife also mentioned this herself when we watched the movie the first time. You're telling me that up until this point, no, there's never been a human who has managed to fight back against these
Well,
parasites.
Dad took the coward's way out.
And their father treated himself fantastically.
Okay, there is something I want to bring up actually.
Go on.
Yeah, okay. It's about Saoirse Ronan. Now, I have heard Saoirse Ronan voice act before in the UK dub of Arietti, and she was really good in that.
I don't know. Saoirse Ronan is a great actress, Liz, I can assure you.
She also
I've seen
does
her in-
voice act, but however, the voice acting she does here for the actual human inside her outside her body, Saoirse is actually really bad voice acting in this for some reason.
I guess she was just badly directed.
Direction.
To her credit, Wibbs, she's working with a Stephanie Meyer story. I mean, it's not. This isn't exactly Pulitzer Prize material here.
So-
I'd have thought that I'd have thought that the guy who okay, I haven't seen his other movies, but I have heard he's actually a pretty decent talent. But I don't thought he'd have made a better script than this. What happened? Did all the time puns in time just short circuit his brain?
Oh boy, here we go.
Oh,
boy.
joy.
All right,
Let's
Shiroi, prepare yourself, Shiroi,
10
because
minutes, almost 10 minutes in, and we start with the creepiness.
yeah, not just that, it's gonna get worse.
James Franco?
No.
You see, you're
Why is he
human.
just a saucer? Hooray.
Back up.
There you go.
Trust. Yeah.
No,
this
wait,
is
it
definitely
gets-
a Stephanie Meyer story.
It gets
Yeah.
better, Emby. That'd be
Now,
worse.
Shuri, what do you think's going to happen between these two? Given how when he realized that she's human, he was overcome to the point where he forcibly kissed
I'm
her.
human just like you. Get off me. Thank you. Yeah, get off.
So
So let me. Okay. Question two.
Wait a minute. You put a knife to her neck and then you plant one on her?
Okay.
Dude.
Okay. He initially thought she was one of the people possessed back in that flashback, but she wasn't. So when he realized that she was human, he was so overcome by emotions that he had to just profess his love to her in some reason.
Okay. To be fair, okay. To be fair, he's just horny, most likely. I don't think he actually literally said that he's in love with her, at least just yet. To be fair.
He's still a creep.
Oh no, he is. Trust me, Shiroi. It's not just the men who are creeps. Everybody's a creep in this movie, as you'll see eventually. Everybody is a creep.
Well,
So-
considering who's behind this, I believe it.
There's also the slightly disturbing bit that this first encounter was
Oh, look
mostly...
at that.
And look
Yeah,
at that,
replay
Shuri.
of that.
Look at that,
Yeah,
Shuri. In typical Meyer fashion, of course she falls in love with the boy who is clearly,
Again,
Cuckoo for Cocoa
Well,
Puff.
the audience doesn't know much about context of what the characters know already. We get to see the fact that Wanderer, while possessing the body of Manatee, used this almost like a wet dream. And once again, Stephanie Meyer portrays this kind of creepy type of relationship as if it's supposed to be arousing.
Okay. Also,
And
keep in
romantic.
mind, she is...
Edward?
Even Drew.
I thought it was
Also-
Edward for a second.
Also, I hope you enjoy hearing this inner monologue, a literal inner
It's
monologue,
basically for
because...
the entire movie anyway.
I'm not
so-
even kidding. I'm not even kidding you, Shiroi. Like me and Vanessa were actually placing bets. Okay, how long it's going to be until something disturbing happens? We got to that point. We both got done. High five.
Ding, ding, ding.
We
So-
can go home now.
So look at that. She
Oh,
settled...
okay, she's already imagining her life with him and shit.
No, Pedro. She's...
She actually went through his base with her brother.
Remember, Pedro, those bits, these are all flashbacks. So this was after Mel and Jared had formed a
Oh.
relationship.
You haven't kissed me since that first night. There you go. See, she liked it and she wants more. There you go.
Okay. Look,
All right.
I know writers aren't their characters. That's something we all understand. But still, I have to question Stephanie Meyer's love life because what the actual...
Okay, speaking of directors.
Oh God, no!
Hold on,
No.
hold on. Yes, Vibs?
Hang on. Yes.
Speaking of directors, so they tapped Andrew Niccol first to do the movie, but then in February of 2011, they were going to replace him with Susanna White, a British director who previously did Nanny McPhee and The Big Bang, among other things. And more recently, she directed a few episodes of Andor.
Ew.
But then in May, Nicole just came back to the film because
Meyer, this is not heartwarming.
got bored.
But yeah, okay.
Yeah.
For context sake, Wanderer is going through Mel's memories, clearly against Mel's,
Consent.
consent in
to
that
say the
regard.
least.
Which means that, yes, she is mentally raping Mel.
Hey, Jova, it's just like Firestorm in Future's End.
So,
Wow, it's just like Wonder Woman 1984.
So there you go. The boy is a creepy assaulter, and Wanderer is a creepy mind rapist.
She right?
Great.
She
It
right?
gets
Yes.
worse.
It's worse. It gets worse than Wonder Woman 1984.
At least Handsome Man had the proven of innocence, at least as far as we know, the doubt when it came to his innocence. In this movie, it's pretty much nobody is innocent.
No, there is no such thing as an innocent person in this movie.
I mean, this is by the same woman who wrote a grown werewolf falling in love with a baby, so, whatever.
Like I said, Shiroi,
Also,
like I said, Shiroi, this story starts off icky and only goes downhill from there.
Now,
does.
on a theoretical level, I want to try to get a bit in, on the level of the movie and try to guess what they were going for. The idea still behind is that it's the end of the world, humanity is desperate, people will do, bad things because they potentially don't care or they think they don't have nothing to lose. We have seen scenarios of that happening, stuff like Evangelion and The Last of Us, The problem is that here, as we mentioned, it's trying to be portrayed in a whimsical manner when it's not even supposed to.
Okay, if I may, one thing that Jeremy Johns, I think, really did a good job in summarizing the problem with this movie. This is essentially Invasion of the Body Snatchers if it were played up like a quirky teenage high school romance drama film.
Yes,
I want to address two things. One, to answer Shiroi. Shiroi, about you questioning Stephanie Meyer's love life. Shiroi, there's a much easier explanation, Shiroi. She's the ultimate internet fanfic writer who has managed to actually make a living out of
Actually,
fanfic
Pedro,
writing.
that would be the author of 50 Shades of Grey.
Since
Well, yeah,
remember
but she-
that.
Which actually was fan fiction.
I get that. I know. I get that too. But Stephanie Meyer's writing as all the trademarks of your typical internet fanfic made by a teenager.
And that's how we got. That's how we got here.
I should mention that yes, I'm pretty sure we're all aware Meyer has been married to somebody since 1994.
Okay. I want to also address what is immediately from the beginning basically what they're doing is they're trying to have her figure out the life of Melanie so that they can maybe find out more people to enslave and all that shit.
Trace back the base of the resistance.
This is okay. Already from the get-go, I already have a major problem with why this story doesn't work. We never get to properly meet Melanie in her neutral state, as in back when she was perfectly fine and living her normal life. We meet her being chased by aliens, and she immediately gets possessed. And the only times we get to see her in a normal state is through these flashbacks. This is the same problem I have with the storytelling in Breath of the Wild. Instead of actually experiencing said story, we just get some little bits here and there.
Okay.
And we feel like we missed a much more interesting story than the one that we're actually seeing.
Okay,
This is not really comparable to Breath of the Wild because at least we do get a look at the present world.
I do ponder if the intention was the audience is supposed to be in the shoes of Wonder. We don't know this person's life, and we get to see it from this kind of perspective.
The problem really just going to how the ending kind of shoots that. Well, okay, I guess the ending kind of does flow with that, but I'm sorry, Wanderer is
Also
not a
terrible,
compelling character.
One of the worst montages I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Like, okay, the difference between something like this and Breath of the Wild is, like, at least with Breath of the Wild, while you do get flashbacks to it, the main story is also still happening in the present with the characters that you meet and interact with, upon which you get the quest here and there. This movie, on the other hand, though, in the present time, it is... Well, I guess I can't say it's boring because, Jesus Christ, it gets really awful, but when it's not awful, it is legit boring. And, like...
I don't know, it's one of those things where I really... That's one of the main reasons why I was so disappointed with Age of Calamity, because I thought that was... We would finally get that story proper, but whatever. Yeah, and why did she run away?
Actually, she's not.
No, she
it's
didn't
more of a
run
case
away.
that she's living a life, but the agency that it's occupying on tracking down human resistance keeps an eye on her because they want to get as much information as possible.
Okay, here's one of my big problems with the story, and this may be more of a thing in the book, but one of these suggestions in the story is that life is better ever since the aliens took us over because they're running the Earth so much better, so much more efficiently. With little regard to the fact...
By Will and Hurt, there's no fighting, there's no hurt, there's no sickness.
Which, again, is BS given what we see these people do to humans. But keep in mind, this literally all comes at the expense of humans being mentally enslaved. It's not just about like, oh no, they only do it to the really bad ones. No, they do it to everyone, which leads to suffering.
Alien parasites think they have the moral high ground because they believe, these species like humans where they were killing each other, killing the planet and everything, and we did them a favor.
Again,
So basically, her reasoning for why she should do she should be allowed to
Fight.
What's this?
Basically, Melanie sometimes takes control of the body in random bursts.
Well,
she
has to be
like
real.
You fell. She's just lying there comfortably. Like, come on, you couldn't get Saoirse Ronan to actually fall properly.
That's the thing, Pedro. Later on, we will actually have something like that, so it's inconsistent within the movie.
Basically, whenever Mel gets really, really, really angry enough, she does get enough power to control her body.
Well, that makes sense, Joe, because as they put it, this one really wants to live.
Again, she tried to kill herself. Literally, the first line of dialogue we get in this movie is an outright contradiction. And one of the dumbest contradictions ever. Like, this would be first case of Ace Attorney level of easy to point out contradiction.
So yeah, because of all of this happening, what they're gonna do is to remove Wanderer from the host to put in another one and actually kill the body of Melanie Strider.
Also, by the way, this woman's name is Seeker. She seeks out humans.
It's clever, Jova. Shut up.
The aliens are not very good at naming things.
But yeah, no,
Anyway.
okay, I want you to remember what Seeker said about how humans are so bad and how they kill themselves and whatnot. Remember that for later.
Not just that, Jova. Her spiel is basically exactly the same thing that Black Doom in Shadow the Hedgehog keeps saying. Humans suck, humans suck, humans suck dick. Like, you're literally ripping off Shadow the Hedgehog with this. Like...
I wonder if Stephanie Meyer is a fan.
So yeah, the plan is to actually get out. Surprisingly enough, Wanderer starts to collaborating with Melanie. So let's start putting the chair on the door.
How convenient.
It's funny.
Okay.
This looks like a David Cage sequence.
As interesting.
How convenient for Melanie that she happened to receive the one alien who's nice.
Okay. To be somewhat fair to the plot, I think it's more so the fact that the alien happened to get the one host who could fight back. My guess is like, oh, this is us seeing, one of these hosts, I guess that might as well be what we call them, realizing what it's like to have a human who can actually speak within the body. But again, just like with Breaking Dawn Part 1, I have to call BS on this supposedly being the first ever time. And funnily enough, just like with Breaking Dawn, the story also calls BS on that later.
Whoa!
Wow.
That's your solution to everything, Melanie. Just jump off a high building.
Also.
Are they gonna do this throughout the movie?
Surprisingly,
Yes.
no.
Well,
Well,
wait.
which is it?
Hold on, Shuri. Were you asking about them bantering with each other?
No, the jumping.
No, like just throwing themselves off of buildings.
Oh.
I'm guessing, sure, the only reason we don't do that is because we don't really have that many other scenes in high building after this.
Yeah. Like, gee, you know what? We really suck at this.
Oh, by the way, you may have.
These aliens suck.
By the way, you may have noticed.
One job, mate.
And we'll see.
How do these aliens conquer the planet?
Again,
big
not
question,
explained in the
especially-
movie.
Remember, these aliens normally don't use violence, even in the supposedly in the giant spider body forms.
We're about to see, actually.
They only incapacitate people, but hold on. This.
Basically, because the aliens
Thanks,
never
Viscount Anthony
lie.
Hopkins.
Yeah, and we're also gonna get a little interaction between Melanie and Wanda about what just happened. Hold on. Well, nice to know. Thank you, God. Thank you, dude.
Cheers.
There you go.
Also, it's funny how Mel's southern accent kind of comes and goes.
So
Yeah, it
apparently
does.
these aliens do not lie, and they just, instead of having a commerce system, they just politely ask each other, if they can borrow stuff, and they
Don't you
how
see,
they do
Tio?
that.
They're just that good, and really, the
Let me
Earth
put
is
it-
better off with
Let me put it this way, Stephanie. Yes, that's the kind of idea that sounds nice when you first think it up, and when you actually think about how would you play that in practice, there's a lot of flaws with that system.
Also, as noted, you were making such a big spiel out of the humans destroying each other and the planet, but you still apparently have the fossil fuel combustible that the humans use for their vehicles.
maybe they're one of those. Maybe they're one of those species who realize that just driving a car doesn't automatically destroy the environment. I mean,
Also,
right? Yes, another flashback.
Look how happy she is. Look at how happy she is with her sexual
Actually, we haven't
assault, right?
mentioned who is this Count James Franco.
Jared Howe.
He's one of those random guys. See, here's
Was
the
this
thing.
the guy who was in the Percy Jackson
Wait,
movies?
wait. Hold on.
No,
hold on.
I don't
Hold
think.
on.
No, I'm pretty sure he wasn't.
Hold on. Were you asking the character's name or the actor's name?
The actor's name.
Oh, Max Paul Diarmid Irons. He's an English
And of
Irish.
course, we have
Iron.
Kiss under the rain.
You're
because
catching pneumonia.
yeah.
Don't you see?
What even is that,
It's
Tio?
normal, man. If you want to do these kind of things, do the under the shower.
Oh, guys, I have good news.
see-
I have good news. So this actor, Jared Howe, he may not have been in Twilight, but he was in the infamous Twilight knockoff Red Riding Hood from 2011.
Right. I
Also,
that
is
was a thing.
is it just me, or I'm getting reminded a lot of Battlefield Earth with the aliens who managed to conquer the planet with ease, and yet while occupying the planet are doing such stupid stuff that you're wondering how they even managed to conquer the planet in the first place.
Hold on, Dwibs. We're about to get. Okay, remember how shitty the car crash was in time, Dwibs? This one is even worse.
Oh, what's
Check this
this?
out.
Boy.
First this. Because apparently Manny sent Wonder to the wrong direction.
Because
Oh, yeah, hold on.
Yeah.
how?
What?
How even?
I don't even know what model is that, so I don't know which country to blame for
Okay,
this production.
Andrew. Pro tip: never do car crashes. You suck at directing those.
Like, I'm sorry.
Of
No,
course she's fine from that.
I'm sorry. No, at worst, the car would swerve off the path. It would not just somehow leap up as if God himself pulled it up and flip like a coin.
Has Andrew directed car crashes in any of his other movies aside from This and In Time?
There wasn't one in the Truman Show, and there certainly wasn't. I don't remember
Well,
there being
Matteo.
one in Gattaca.
Well, keep in mind, for Truman Show, he only wrote that. He didn't direct that.
I don't remember one being present in Gattaca, as far as I know.
No, in
It's been a
Gattaca,
while
that's
since I watched it,
Oh.
admittedly.
But yeah, I love what Wanderer says. You humans are such an unreasonable species. I mean, all we did was come to Earth, take over your bodies, and
Yeah.
clearly,
God, you're also ungrateful.
again, this is
Yeah,
one of
how
my.
inconsiderate of you.
Okay.
It was
Peace.
also framed more like the speech of Tommy Wiseau, like, I treat you like a princess and now you betrayed me.
Yeah, you
Oh,
betrayed me.
Okay. From what I know, it was more emphasized in the book, but there was this argument that, the world is really better off with these aliens because they're better humans than us
Well,
humans.
I was mentioning that there's a possibility. It's also conveniently placed water bottle. I was mentioning it as a possibility during our final
this
thoughts on
better
Metal
to
Gear Solid
walk
2.
on the rocks. Okay, Okay, if you walk on the rocks, not to leave footprints, this trip is going to take 3 times as long.
Well, don't you see? I guess her body's fine?
Meanwhile, in your average Apple office,
Why white?
They're
it gets worse, Dweebs. Their vehicles, as you will see later, they're completely chromatic shiny.
Whoa.
Everything is chrome in the future.
They basically reconstructed the sketch from Melanie, combining that with geography
Again,
to see what other places where they can investigate.
my main issue with the story is that it really does not do a good argument to
Also-
suggest that we should root for the aliens.
Believe it or not, that reflection in the mirror, that was supposed to be foreshadowing for something that happens near the end, but it's done so poorly. But yeah, apparently the Seeker, also so much for walking on the rocks, but apparently the Seeker now is basically this Captain Ahab, vengeance towards Melanie and Wanderer for some reason, even though her species should be potentially calm and reflective.
Okay. Well, let me use this time to bring out something interesting from behind the scenes. Okay, you know Diane Kruger, the woman,
actress,
the blonde lady who plays the evil Seeker, who's after Melanie and Wanda. Well, here's the fun thing. There's an interview out there, you can look it up on YouTube, where she gets asked by the interviewer, how would you describe a Stephanie Meyer story? What are the essential elements? And I'm not even kidding you, her first thing that comes out of her mouth is, that is a good question. I'm not sure how to answer that.
Was that her trying to be nice? Because I can tell you what a lot of other...
Trust me, Jova. Look up interviews from the actors. These actors are masters at bullshitting their way from interviews.
Well, I mean, they're actors.
Look at that. That is not a vehicle you want to drive in the desert in.
Is it like on the same level as the interviews for the Game of Thrones actors after the finale?
Yes.
Basically, she gets asked stuff like that. When she has to talk about what the movie is about, she's like, well, it's Stephanie Meyer. She of course talks about a lot of topics that are related to that are relevant to us, like love and the perseverance of the human spirit. She just bullshits her way for the interview.
The journalism answers. Okay.
The late William Hurt.
I want you guys to listen to this.
Us? Yes, it's just us. We should really watch Us at some point. It's a great horror film. So yeah,
Dun, dun, dun.
I'm afraid your little girl's kind of caring for 2 there.
So yeah, you'd think this would make Uncle Jed,
suspicious.
Okay.
Believe it or not, he's gonna be more supportive of these monsters.
I get that she said you found us, not me, but are you honestly telling me that that's enough of a reason to take a big risk like this?
Also, I'm sorry. So Mel clearly did not initially want Wanderer to find them, but now she's yelling to Uncle Jed that she's in here as if she wants them to spare her. Mel, wasn't your character motivation pretty much to stop her at any moment?
Jesus.
Rude.
No. Remember, Shira, the thing is, the aliens always get access to people's memories. So yeah, it is they are very much in good. It's very fair for them to assume that this is the alien trying to trick them.
So yeah, what they're gonna do instead is to blindfold her to take her to the secret hideout of humanity.
It's a good thing that Uncle Jeb is a naive moron. Otherwise, the plot would just end right here.
Okay. Ignoring that, though,
Don't you see, Pedro? He has an intuition.
and not only that, though, I must have missed a point, but when did Melanie's motivations change? Remember, she didn't want Wanderer to know anything about this, but now
Well, that's
she's...
because Jova, she's gonna change her soon enough again.
I know, but that's the thing.
It's almost like the writing in both the movie and the book is inconsistent as fuck.
Okay, how familiar are you with the book?
I tried to check out the major difference. Sadly, Dominic Noble has not done one of his comparison videos, but I tried to check at least the minimal stuff that was mentioned in the reviews that I found of the movie.
I'm guessing he'll eventually tackle the host after he's done doing his adaptation videos of the Twilight series.
I think he has already done those.
Oh, no.
That and the 50 Shades series.
No. Okay, what he did was he did book reviews of the Twilight series, but now he's in the phase of doing his adaptation videos of seeing, when he
Anyway,
compares
that's
movies
the
to
remnants of
books.
humanity is living inside a giant rock. It's a big one.
Okay.
And hey, the Doctor there is played by, I forgot the name of the actor, the current voice of
Oh,
Darth
look at
Vader.
Hey,
Oh,
Jared!
Ow.
The voice
See,
of
like
who,
I
sorry?
said, they actually bothered to include a scene where she actually falls down on something.
The voice of who, sorry, to you?
The guy who plays the Doctor is the voice.
So,
He has been the voice of Darth Vader in the Star Wars video games since the 90s.
so let's recap. He puts a knife to her neck. He sexually assaults her, and now he beats her.
Okay.
Clearly boyfriend material.
Okay, let's be fair to him this time. As far as he knows, that's just an alien that is inhabiting his girlfriend's body.
Mm-hmm.
Since
His girlfriend.
okay,
because they have such good chemistry.
well, Dwebs, that's the thing. The flashbacks show that they were in a relationship before she got captured.
But about Saoirse Ronan's acting, guys, remember Robert Pattinson wasn't exactly great in the Twilight movies, and we all know he's a much better actor than that. Let's face it, Dwebs. How good can you make this material be?
Okay, if I can give some credit to the actors, those that are possessed and then later aren't possessed okay. Let me reiterate. Mel, or the woman playing Mel, does a good job of differentiating when she's possessed and the flashbacks when she's not possessed. So we can see a difference in mannerism. I guess, the actors are trying their best. Granted, not all of these are good actors, as you'll come to see. As for Max Irons,
the guy playing the sexual assaulter, he's just here because he looks pretty.
So yeah, the reasoning Mel is having with Wonder is that don't tell them that I'm alive inside you, because apparently they will not believe you and kill you instantly for it.
Okay.
They
in that
already
case,
want to
Melanie,
kill
what's our
her.
plan then? So what's our plan exactly, Melanie?
It's like Galahad at the end of the Order 1886.
oh, back to this, because we keep ping-ponging back and forth
Again,
between
we need
plot
to have the
points.
Seeker being absurdly obsessed with this. Like
Well,
he
we
said,
need to have a villain somehow.
It's apparently uncharacteristic for the species to be obsessed like this.
And before you ask, no, the story doesn't address how this is out of character for the aliens.
Actually, it does at the end.
Oh,
At the end,
God, at the very end. Okay, I forgot about that bit, but that's the thing. It's only near the
Also,
end.
this time to introduce the second hunk.
Yep, oh boy.
Because, Twilight had a feud between two hunks. We're gonna need to have one in here, too.
Are they brothers or
No,
clones?
they're different.
Dreams, it's basically, there's a wasted opportunities, because if they made a gender swap version of Star Wars Episode 1, these guys could have played the role of Amidala. Get it. Yeah, you're totally strangling her. I
Okay.
can see the acting.
Yeah. Okay, Shira. Notice how this other dude. Remember, this is for the record.
Oh,
this is not
hey,
the boyfriend from
Jebediah.
before. This is a different guy.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, Shira, that guy that was strangling Wanda. That's not the boyfriend from before up until this point. That's the new guy that's from here, right? Notice how he was trying to kill the alien. Keep that in mind for later.
And yes, as you can imagine, Shira, humanity refers to...
That's it. We took a vote. This isn't a democracy. Okay, first off, this is a democracy.
It's a dictatorship.
What?
Okay. Taking aside from the fact that that line is fucking stupid, they claim, she has to die. We took a vote. First off, if you want to take a vote, you have to tell everybody. You have to gather everybody around so we can all vote together. You can't just show up to the leader. By the way, we took a vote, so we're going to do this. That's not how votes work, you idiot.
Hey.
Stephanie, do you know how anything works?
Pedro, they literally just said it's not a democracy.
I get that, but go on, Joe.
Maybe it would be better if this movie actually
Hey,
showed
it's the
more
generic,
of how.
It's the generic skeleton prop which shows up in Neil Breen movies.
I wish I was watching Pass Through.
Did they just loan it to each
They're
other?
so corrupt. They killed my wife.
Maybe it would be better if the story actually showed more of how the humans operate.
Yeah, once again, these aliens supposed to supposedly conquer the Earth, even as giant spiders in Pacific terms. How did they manage to conquer just the United States with their damn Second Amendment in full force?
I know. Like, okay, unless those giant spiders were invincible to bullets and whatnot, they may have had a bit of trouble. Don't get me wrong.
At the very least, Battlefield Earth implied that the John Travolta's race had superior technology, and that's how we conquered Earth. But this...
So yeah, basically these two are standing watch just to make sure there's no aliens coming in nearby the hideout.
Yeah. Gee, it's almost like these shiny chromatic vehicles in the middle of a desert is detrimental to you.
Okay, so what should we do?
Let's cut to this girl. That's what we'll do.
Yeah, the pacing of this movie is
also, you may have noticed, Shiri, but yes, humanity refers to the aliens with the pronoun.
Now, to their credit...
Yeah, I noticed.
Thank you, Mel. We wouldn't have known that also, if you hadn't told us.
Bang-up job that William Hurt is doing, because they specifically asked him to not to keep the kid around her.
Andrew, here's how you make that line, that exchange more natural. Wanda asks, "Who's that little boy?" And then Melanie says, "He's my brother." See? There you go. This is basic shit, Andrew.
For the record, the child actor, I forgot his name. This was one of the last things that he did before not doing anything. I don't know if he retired or something.
Let's see. Chandler Canterbury. Oh, he was in...
Hold on. She just said, to protect you and Jared, she tried to take her take her own life. How would that protect Jared and...
Well, okay.
By not having her being captured by the Seekers.
Basically, the deal is that, as far as we know, the hosts can only infiltrate humans that are living.
That was poorly acted.
Yeah, that was very poorly paced and acted. You can tell that the actor never actually intended to say anything. Here's what you actually say. You give the actor the full line, and you have the other actor blatantly interrupt him.
This baffles me because this director knows how to direct a dialogue, as showcasing Gattaca. What happened?
What happened to you, Andrew?
I really do wonder.
Again, I think something happened within time that just spread to this movie.
So,
I guess.
Oh, okay.
Maybe ego, I don't know.
I gotta wonder, is In Time that bad a movie?
Yes. Like I said, Jova, it's a barrage of time puns parading as a story.
The Minutemen follow the time.
Oh my god. Yes, story, we get it. The degrading of humanity here. Okay, look, if I may, this story can bite me with that whole humanity is degraded nonsense. Look, humanity, as far as we know from the story, have been infiltrated, forcibly taken over. And now, literally have one of these beings that, keep in mind, all it takes is memories from these beings, and they can record that stuff well and good. And suddenly, we're to assume that they're bad for wanting to kill one of the aliens that came here. Like, don't get me wrong, I get it. Don't always judge everything, but let me put this into perspective. Imagine if, per se, a Nazi came about and claimed that they're not really bad and whatnot during World War II. Yeah, you can understand why people might just be a little bit on edge with this stuff. This isn't about humanity supposedly degrading. They have every reason to be terrified.
Time for your payoff, Sherry.
Here is a payoff, Sherry.
The glaring silence.
What, you don't like that name? Well, suck it up, because it's a better name than Wanderer.
Was there supposed to be a moment for the audience to awe or something?
No, I get the feeling that was supposed to be a moment for the audience to laugh.
Not even that.
Okay. Now, to their credit, they do explain how they're able to have electricity and how the system underground works.
They basically got super lucky and found this cave which has everything they need. Solar power and running water.
Well, okay.
Clear water.
To be fair, when it comes to the solar power, that is something a bit more man-made.
Don't bother much about Aunt Maggie. She barely does anything in the movie. Most reviews completely cut a role out because she's really pointless.
Yeah, she is.
I forget if she had more of a role in the book.
No, it's so mind-boggling because for all the horrible problems, Stephanie Meyer did manage to juggle in a few quasi-decent supporting female characters in the Twilight books. So what happened here?
I mean, I guess... hey, to be fair, she has a female as the main antagonist, so...
Terribly written as well.
Oh, well, great. Well, what is the equivalent of a shower scene, I guess?
Hey, it's just a scene of her...
As we mentioned previously, this movie more and more starts resembling a David Cage plot.
But look at this. Yeah. Now Wanda, as we'll now call her, has to deal with the fact that...
You just made me think of something. You just made me think of something, too. A collaboration between Stephanie Meyer and David Cage.
Why not at this point?
Think about it, Shiroi. David Cage and Stephanie Meyer writing female characters together.
Ugh.
I can't think of anything worse.
I can.
It's like an answer in Family Line, like the creepiest thing you can imagine.
And yes, the Seekers do in fact even have a helicopter air force.
Chromatic helicopters, Drova. They need to stay on brand, even if it's completely stupid.
It's funny you mention staying on brand when you see what they later did to stores as well.
Were they expecting to do merchandising for this movie?
No, Tio. It's an independent-made film, so don't you see? The genius about it is by making everything chromatic, we don't have to pay certain brands.
Anyway, your point about making things right combinations that could be worse than this, I can think of one.
Go on.
Practically any of the Twilight directors with the screenwriter of those films.
Hey. Now, to be fair, no, the Twilight directors... I attribute more so the problems with the films to do with the story that they were adapting.
Exactly, Liz. You can put fucking Orson Welles directing one of those things. Like, there's no saving it.
We've seen that.
The direction also has its issues as well.
Look, I won't deny that direction may have some issues, but at best it's like 10 to 20% of the issue with the film. It is not the main bulk. The main bulk is and will always be what they're adapting. Like, I'm sorry. Unless the director was given a choice to outright change the story, there was no salvaging Breaking Dawn. Not even Stanley Kubrick could have made that amazing. I'm sorry.
I actually want to see what she answers here. So are you going to betray us to the Seekers or not? Yeah, why? Okay, maybe you should let her answer, Uncle Jeb. Maybe?
He's mostly explaining his reasoning on why he allowed her here.
Let's just hope he doesn't put her to sleep with that dull acting.
Can you stop mumbling,
boy.
please?
Shiroi, William Hurt. William Hurt,
It's
Shiroi.
better. It was better than this. I'm sorry.
I also love how again we have to get told how Melanie actually, what kind of person Melanie actually is, instead of actually seeing this
From
for
another
ourselves.
character, not
You
even
know,
herself.
Can I just say
Remember,
this?
Melanie-
How weird is it that for a character who we are constantly hearing from, it doesn't feel like we know much about Mel?
No, we don't. That's because they kill her 10 minutes in.
Well, that's the thing, Pedro. She still is a presence in the movie. She's constantly blabbing in Wanda's head, and yet we don't know much about her. How do you do that? I mean, granted, yeah, sometimes you have a mysterious narrator, but Mel's not supposed to be that.
Hold on.
Here we go.
I was looping.
But yeah, no, this was literally the penultimate thing this kid was in. The next thing was in was something called Black Eyed Dog.
That kid does a good job hiding himself in that tall grass. He's gonna grow up to become jungle evil.
So yeah, in case the Seekers use an aerial vehicle, the humans have a trick in order to not get spotted.
Basically,
this leads to an hilarious moment.
So what they do is they have solar panels that help reflect sunlight in to help stuff grow, while also
Which
helping
can be
with electricity.
turned upside down like this, I guess.
Yep.
How did they even build this system to begin with?
Apparently, Akunjab predicted all this shit and started working on it.
Quick, turn that wheel like there's no tomorrow.
You did? You only saw shining things.
Yeah, you saw a shining thing.
Which was a vehicle. Although the punchline. Wah, wah. So I know what you're thinking. At this point, the other Seekers should probably deduce that this Seeker is gone completely cuckoo, overly obsessed with her job, and should replace her with someone else. But no, they don't do that.
Is this the whole story? The story of how we had one alien rebellion in a hole?
Yes.
I bad news, Lives.
Okay, the answer is yes and no.
And no.
And everything in between.
Yes,
let's give the 11-year-old a shotgun.
Avoid.
Like-
Yeah,
Yeah, thank you.
Wait, hold on. Oh, but don't you see it's not really loaded?
God, that's Uncle Jeb.
although I noted the echo in the caves should have made sure that the kid would have heard him saying that. So
Let's
anyway,
assume they were.
Of course, mind you, Shiroi, is another thing. The humans have to do regular supply runs using those trucks. But you might have noticed that a lot of dust that they collected. So I know what you're thinking. How would the aliens be able to not, visualize their tracks and track even down to the hideout? Well, apparently in the book it was mentioned that they did use stars and similar objects attached behind the trucks in order to cover up the tracks on the sand. Apparently Andrew Niccol thought it was not important to have that thing.
Oh boy.
Oops.
So I guess this one's on the director there. Don't get me wrong.
What happened to the lighting and the coloring? I get it it's supposed to be darker here, but you can tell that there's a color correction effect applied.
Now again, the reason they have her close her eyes a lot is that, remember, the hosts are very memory sensitive, essentially.
No, also for showcasing the bioluminescence.
Wow, now they're
caves,
now they're also looking at the all of the universe and shit.
But remember, too, they blindfolded her before bringing her to the cave because, memory and all that stuff.
Well, you know what? There's another similar thing that reminds me of Shadow the Hedgehog. One of my favorite scenes in Shadow the Hedgehog is when both Black Doom and Shadow are in space and they're looking at the stars. Then all of a sudden, Black Doom's like, "So you see finally how shit humans are." What does that have to do with what? Is it?
Also, in case you're wondering, around this point in the book, she did mention how the humans were conquered.
Mm-hmm.
Again, apparently Andrew Niccol thought it was not too important to mention that.
In hindsight, Wanda, Uncle Judd doesn't really have any good reason to think this, so I don't really understand.
And again, I don't really understand Mel's logic about not wanting to say anything to anyone because she would think they believe she lied and therefore kill her instantly.
I have to wonder.
As Pedro and Jova mentioned, like, this situation is any better. Like, what are you trying to prove?
I have to, like I mentioned, I have to wonder if Mel is suffering brain damage because her motivations change every 20 or so minutes in the film. 1 minute she wants to die, then she wants to live but get Wanderer out, but then she wants to lead Wanderer except not, but then she relents in having Wanderer find other humans, and now she wants to actually not tell them that she's in there.
Also, it makes you guessing, like, where physically is Melanie? She's supposed to inhabit the same body, is not really much control over it, but is she just, again, being a conscious and everything, she just lives inside?
This scene feels earned, right?
Absolutely.
Well, okay, the idea is that he's speaking to Mel through her, which I guess Mel's now okay with letting people know.
Okay, so basically that whole spiel.
Oh my god! Wait.
That's also
Wait,
another
hold
thing.
on. So the reason Mel was the first person to be able to fight for control is that she's special, she's strong, so she's Bella 2.0.
Not just that. Again, there's also this theme that the movie will reinforce, the story will reinforce because it was even in the book. That apparently the only reason why this whole thing is happening with Wander and Mel is because the aliens were
hold on, I gotta talk about this. The store is called Store. Now, okay, if I recall correctly, the idea is that the aliens stripped down all product placement because all stores are equal and all that or something, despite the fact that they left the car company names in because I guess Mercedes-Benz was the one thing.
Bad at your job.
Okay, how did these aliens conquer the Earth again?
Yeah, like I said earlier, it's like Battlefield Earth.
Supposedly with giant spiders in the books, but not explained in the movie.
They do not just live in there and instead, capture the Seeker and instead put him on the truck. I wonder why.
I'm honestly considering these aliens are like, there is no war, there is only peace and all that. I'm surprised they even bother having stores because I'm surprised they didn't even say, actually, you know what, screw money. Money causes problems.
But yeah, apparently the reason all this is happening between Wander and Melanie is because apparently these aliens were completely unknown to the concept of human love. And that's why it's covering between the memory. And again, as cynical as it is, love is basically a complex chemical reaction in our brains. It's not magic. It's not that special.
Okay, so now we have to use the side to get some,
classic style.
However, this is going to lead to an unintentionally hilarious bit.
He's giving her a potential weapon.
Not just that. Okay, sure. The little kid is also going to be given a side. Pay attention to something that's going to happen when he tries doing it.
Also, soothing guitar.
It's subtle, so pay attention when it happens.
Oh, poor Jared. The love of his life doesn't even recognize him anymore.
Yeah, Wanda. Moving on. Okay, show the kid doing it.
I wanted to give her a nickname.
No, I think it happens later. But anyway, just for mentioning, the music is done by a Brazilian composer, Antonio Pinto.
Okay, Antonio Pinto. Here. Check this out. Okay, seems like the kid at the very least knows how to do it, despite being young and inexperienced. Okay, good. And somehow Wanda knows how to do it too, even though, as far as I'm aware, she's never done this before, but whatever.
Well, she knew how to drive, so...
Oh, boy.
I guess.
I mean, would it really be that hard to figure out how to use a scythe?
Yeah, agreed. Aunt Maggie is still an asshole, but whatever.
Well,
I'm no farmer, but I'm pretty sure it's not...
But look at that, he offered his water.
To it, at least.
Yes.
Yep. Okay, so I guess Pretty Boy number 2 is now nice.
Right,
now,
okay, this
for
is
reasons that.
this is Ian O'Shea played by.
Hold on, Joe, I have to put this out. Don't you dare smile at him. So there you go.
Oh,
Apparently,
go ahead. There we go.
What?
He accidentally cut himself just by looking up a bit. And mind you, I know what you're thinking. Well, it makes sense with the angle, but he cut, his arm doing this. No, he
Nope.
cut his right leg.
How the hell did that even? What?
You know,
How
this is up there with Olivia Munn's character in The Predator shooting herself in the foot.
Maybe it wasn't the best idea having an 11-year-old kid do all this stuff.
Agreed.
No. Okay, regardless though. No, even if he's inexperienced with that thing, he was doing just fine with it before.
Yeah, he was.
He would have to be aiming at his leg because
Also,
usually
speaking for the Young One job, but these characters get busted only because they were actually infringing the speed limit.
Brilliant.
Especially after they were specifically told to not do it.
You guys are idiots. So, Shiro, you were asking how hard can it be to use a scythe? Well, there you go. Apparently, it's very easy to cut your own fucking leg with it, apparently.
like, okay, if he was using like the
Do we know that it was his leg and not his other arm?
Be a plot point, don't worry.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
But yeah, literally the only reason these guys got busted is because they were driving above the speed limit, and I'm like, my dudes, they should know this.
The aliens are still not willing to use weapons. They just want to capture them, but they do not have the means to physically restrain the vehicle.
You know what?
You think they will actually use ropes to pull them down or something? But no.
You know what? I'm gonna take advantage of this to make a personal appeal for me and my wife. Please, someone make another movie based on one of this woman's books because I miss them. I miss laughing my ass off of these. Can we have another one of those?
Oh wait,
please?
what's this?
What's with the music? Right now?
It's just so how sad it is.
Because it's about to showcase that these characters have no way out. So what are we gonna do? No ammo either. So you think they were just trying to, disperse them by running as fast as they can? So instead, no. What they're gonna do?
Kill themselves?
Yeah.
Okay.
They're not even actually, they're gonna do it in one of the stupidest ways possible. Instead of, just, killing themselves in one particular way and just leaving the truck there potentially to rescue. No, they're gonna ram full speed into a cement block.
Question.
You have guns in the van!
So there you go. Apparently Andrew Nichols saw that happening. This is literally how they saw that happening too.
Okay. Question. Why didn't the aliens clearly block that easy way for them to drive?
Maybe they'll check on them and find out that they really wanted to live.
Think about this, Dwips. The creator of The Truman Show is ripping off the M. Night Shyamalan. Just think about that for a moment.
I haven't seen The Truman Show.
The point is, this guy, believe it or not,
it's such a poignant story that they even named a medical condition after it.
Let's just say this: believe it or not, there was a point where Andrew Niccol actually made good movies. I know it's hard to believe since you only saw In Time in this, but trust me, there was a point in time where he did make good movies. Believe it or not.
Oh, look at that! And now the community is starting to open up to Wanderer. Wanda.
We live in harmony with these species by taking over their minds and living through them. That's how harmony and partnerships work, right?
Whoa!
Oh god, this action scene is terrible. Now keep in mind,
He dropped the gun.
I mean, to be honest, to be honest, Jova, I had a feeling the action wasn't going to be that good, considering that the first quote action scene had all those weird cuts in it.
Oh, here we go.
So let's see what.
This bit.
Amanda
Look at
Kruger is
this.
gonna do.
All right, Shiro, I want you to count how many bullets she fires from that gun.
All right.
1,
And she kills that guy.
2, 3,
She
4,
just killed
5,
one of her
6,
own.
7.
Hey, Seeker, what was that you said about...
And mind you, the gun hadn't been reloaded at that point.
7 bullets.
Yeah, 7.
Hey, Seeker,
Okay,
what was
how
that...
many bullets does this particular gun... Like, that's a lot of bullets, 7.
Hey, Seeker,
It's
what was
Well,
usually
that...
it's another
6.
revolver, so it has more capacity. But mind you,
And that guy looking at it like, what
Oh, wait.
the fuck?
the gun had far more than that. But hold on, this is also important because she actually killed
Hold
this.
on, hold on.
And what's her
Finally,
partner...
someone's calling her out on their bullshit.
But
You're
that's
too
just-
human for us.
Wait. So even the Seekers are pretty much saying, dudes, let's just leave them
be.
alone.
Exactly.
Till last I grapple with thee.
So I got a bit. So basically, they're going to do here what the Doctor and Martha were going to do during the Family of Blood in Doctor Who.
You
Kinda.
would think, but the Seeker ain't having any of that.
I guess she's afraid that they'll grow in numbers and kill.
There's also
kill off
one
their
more
leadership.
motivation, but we will learn that in around 30 minutes. So.
Okay, now, Shiroi, I know what you're thinking. It's been about 40 minutes since we've had creepy people and force themselves on others. Don't worry, that's what the second half of the movie is for.
Sorry, this
Oh,
country is
what's
frankly
this?
cannot do it.
I like her now for some reason.
Yeah, the roles have been inverted. The guy who tried to kill her now is in love, and instead the original boyfriend instead wants to kill her.
Yeah, this film's really meandering.
Confused,
It's really meandering. It's like, what's happened
Oh,
in the past 30 minutes?
and here we go. The secret's out that Mel's still alive in there.
This has got to be one of the weirdest iterations of the lie reveal trope I have ever seen.
Not just
Again,
that,
I just have to
again,
wonder, why did Mel want no one to know? She wants to
And even
live,
then-
but,
And
not
even
telling
then,
anyone
I-
lessen those chances.
And even then, again, they have every reason in the world to think that the alien is just cleverly trying to trick them. They have no evidence of any of this.
But the kid believes in her.
But-
Of course.
That's okay.
Because,
And that's all
because,
it's moving.
because as we all know, kids are usually very good judges of character.
Just like dogs? That's not a great comparison.
Oh!
Ooh.
Oh my.
Also, actually, children are pretty decent judges of character.
I guess.
There you go. There's the explanation. You first tried to kill me, now you're trying to protect me? Well, it's a strange world.
The
Is
truth is stranger than
Oh,
fiction.
shut up.
Okay.
That's literally a non-answer.
I
if
gotta
I've ever
ask.
heard one.
Is that what Stephanie Meyer always said to her publisher whenever they probably questioned the very off things about the Twilight series? Strange world.
Probably. Okay, this doesn't sound too bad. I mean,
The very least.
again, I'm not entirely certain, Wanda, if it's a good idea to accept help and live in the house of a guy who literally tried to strangle you like yesterday, I think.
Oh, but don't you see,
Or-
Pedro? Now Mel's suggesting that he likes her too
Is-
much.
Is she into that? I mean, I'm not kink shaming, but
Okay,
It gets worse. But hold on, these two now are having sex. How could
Yeah.
it be?
oh yeah, this is a flashback. You can tell
No,
because
it's
they're in a
not.
proper room.
It's a wet dream!
Oh!
Oh, right, I forgot about this.
I should mention when they started filming this movie, Saoirse Ronan was 17.
Oh,
Yee.
goody.
Wait,
Wonderful.
Wait, what? Really?
Yeah.
So what do you want, Jared?
His name is Jared and he's still looking
Looking good, yeah.
Da-da-da.
Oh boy. From one problematic juror to the next, I see. Hmm?
Okay, Ian, that's the name of the other
Yes.
pretty boy, right?
Blanca.
But yeah,
Alright.
I mentioned that earlier.
I'm sorry, Jove. I can't for the life of me remember their names because they're both just as bland as the other.
They cannot even be compared properly to Edward and Jacob because in this they're really
Yeah.
almost interchangeable.
At least Edward and Jacob actually
they're
are
pretty
different
much
characters.
separated.
Yeah.
Some people even argue that they switched bodies in the later books, given how the personality shifted, but they
You
were still
actually-
different.
Stephanie, you actually got worse at writing characters than in Twilight.
Again!
How does that even happen?
Again, remember, despite how popular Twilight was, this series
All right,
failed.
what's
Tell 'em I love
Melly's
'em.
plan?
Let's see.
Oh, how lovely. Oh. Oh no.
So you know what this means? Jared is only attracted to her body and nothing else.
Brilliant. Fucking brilliant.
Except, the story suggests
Hold
that he
on.
really does love Melanie. Because as we all know, Meyer has a very, 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 very messed up perception of how love is.
Yes,
And hold
thank
on,
you.
I want.
Oh,
listen to
Mel.
the
Hold on,
point
hold-
of this,
listen, hold on.
Nobody else punches me like that.
That was the way. Thank goodness
So-
I sexually assaulted just to make sure of it.
So there you go.
She,
So
she
there.
punched me.
Okay, okay, okay.
Clearly it's Melanie. Punching happens to be her fetish.
So-
So clearly it's Melanie.
So there you go, guys. It wasn't that he's only physically attracted to her. No, he intentionally did that to get a rise out of her to see if Mel was really in there. Yep. Yeah. Totally. Yeah. Absolutely. You noble bastard of a human.
Brilliant. Fucking brilliant.
But don't worry, it's
She
gonna
was in
get worse.
Ariete. I know she's a good voice actress. What the hell happened?
Poor direction. Also, this guy just is now gonna try to kill her because.
Yeah, and this guy is just someone who's unimportant.
What is that? Is that the guy who got slapped earlier?
No.
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 Again,
See,
they
see,
both
see-
look the bloody same.
See, there you go, Dibs. Now you know how my wife felt back in 2013. There you go.
Yeah, if I ever run into Vanessa, if I ever visit Portugal, I'll tell her, don't worry, Vanessa. I got just as confused of the male characters in The Host as you did.
Yeah.
Oops.
Holy crap!
Is this?
What
Is this?
What the fuck?
Everyone is a ninja in this.
Wait.
Yeah, because if this was the same guy as in earlier, I thought it was just going to be, you won't kiss me, well, fuck you then.
This is not one of the other two, Dibs. This is a guy
He's
who
a
is not
completely
important.
different person. But now he's about to actually die. I
Wow,
also love the
Mel.
only way-
Wait.
I also
Some-
think the only way Wander has to communicate with Mel is to actually speak out loud their thoughts instead of actually thinking. Communicate with telepathy.
Wait, hold on. The one who just tried to... Huh.
All right, so let's see what Melanie has to say about what happened. Sorry, Wanda has to say what happened.
What happened? Don't you see? Wanda is such a great person because she doesn't want to out the person that wanted to kill her.
Yeah, she's
How
such a
lovely.
she's such a wonderful soul.
Very piss poor example.
Great.
Wow.
Uh,
How am I supposed to feel safe in this community after you said that?
I guess you're not.
Exactly.
Remember, even before he mentioned that it's a dictatorship.
which really doesn't make sense since nothing.
Even if he was joking.
Oh, you're supposed to be the rebellion.
Well, it's more again, Dweebs. On paper, again, this is supposed to reflect the ideas seen in stuff like The Last of Us. The idea that humanity has been restricted to such small communities of limited people compared to what they were before. That concept like societies break down to their basic level and
Which
allow
is,
people to exploit to their most. Sorry.
Which is interesting because this film came out a few months before The Last of Us.
I think-
almost like
I
that's
think-
not an original
I
concept.
think
at
Pedro
all.
was groaning.
What I
at,
missed.
I think Pedro was groaning at the film, not you two.
You missed a
No,
lot,
I
Shiroi.
know.
You wanna
Oh,
mention
is that it? Oh, is
Pedro?
that it? No, I was groaning at the movie. Okay, basically, Shiroi, here's what you missed. Jared, aka the first of the two hunks, I know it's confusing, just roll with it. The point is, he was having a wet dream with Melanie back when they were still a couple, right? So what he did is he immediately went to where Wanda is, the alien who's inside Melanie's body. It's like, you know what? I figured I just realized you, but you know what? It's still her body. So I can just kiss you. So he just and forced himself on her, and then Melanie took control and punched him for it.
Mind you, Shiroi, you also need the context, the fact that while Manny was saying, no, please don't do it, the music was portraying things as a romantic moment.
Okay.
So, wait a minute.
And sick, and the most gross thing of it all, as I said to the guys earlier, when they started filming this movie, Saoirse Ronan was only 17.
Okay.
Oh, but hold on.
That's a yikes.
Hold on.
That's,
One at a time.
Sure. Go on.
Basically, Shiroi, you know how Jared is Mel's boyfriend, lover, or whatnot?
Hold on, Joel, I have to interrupt you here. What the hell is happening here?
Wanda turns out as the hots for this guy, and this guy
Ian.
actually likes Wanda, as in he likes her not for the body, but for her personality.
All right, we already ticked the misogyny, like this, no, but the misandrist one, yeah. Basically, Shiroi, Wanda now has the hots for hunk number 2.
Okay.
Yeah, I know they have names, but I'm just gonna call them hunk number
All
1
right.
and hunk number 2.
For the sake of professionalism, this one's name is Ian. He is played by Jake Abel. Okay, we can argue about the acting ability, but to my knowledge, Jake Abel is not exactly a stellar actor.
But I also have feelings of my own. No, you don't. How do you know she doesn't, Melanie? That you're being quite judgmental.
it's the whole handsome man thing all over
So there
again.
you go, Shiroi. Now, Wanda is using Melanie's body to kiss Ian.
Just like in Wonder
So,
Woman 1984.
Okay, it's actually worse here though,
Yeah.
because
Like I
the
said,
person
Shiroi,
is
handsome man
actively
was-
saying no.
Like I said, Shiroi, handsome man had the benefit of the doubt that he was innocent in all of this. In here, nope.
Okay.
I swear, if I ever met Stephanie Meyer, I would be like, you're into some really
All right.
weird shit.
All right.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay. So let's just take a record of how the relation. Let's just go with the record of how the relationships go. Melanie is actually in love with Jared, who actually is in love with Melanie, because guess what, Shuri? That bit where he tried to force himself onto Wanda, essentially, it turned out that was actually just a ploy to get Melanie to react and punch him so he could see if she was really still in there. Because he actually does still love Melanie.
She's saying, if you saw my real self, you'd be disgusted, you would crush me.
I mean, she's not wrong. She's a CGI abomination.
That's beyond racist. Spacist, I guess.
And apparently that somehow turns things on.
The body does not consent.
It's the myth of consenting. I consent. I do not.
Okay,
Is there
okay.
somebody you forgot to ask?
Okay. And I think this is a good point for me to point out the biggest problem with this movie. There is a lot of interesting story potential. The idea of consent, how people work in others' bodies, how the world is being taken over, how the resistance works in this post-apocalyptic world setting. But the main problem is that...
You want an interesting plot or something?
Okay, hold on. Let me finish.
Go on.
Was there a line?
No.
Yeah, I want to comment on that line. You're angry when you kiss the man you love, and you're angry when I kiss one you don't.
Okay.
I wonder why that is, Wanda.
Okay, so okay. But here's the biggest problem with this movie. All these interesting plot ideas, they take a backseat to the main plot being...
I am not weak!
There you go, Shiroi. Sonic Forces
Again,
ripped
this
us
is
off.
supposed to be foreshadowing for something, but it's so poorly handled.
Anyway,
Go on, Jova, sorry.
the biggest problem with this movie is that all the interesting ideas take backseat to what is essentially just a redux of Twilight high school teenage drama romance, right down to there even being quirky comedy, with Melanie
what you're
saying
saying, Java,
hallelujah.
So what you're saying, Jova, it's a Stephanie Meyer story.
Okay.
Alright, now
So
to introduce the next plot point. You've noticed from before also, during their raids, the humans carrying around also bodies of seekers that have been caught. Not killed, caught actually. Why? That's what we need to find out.
So let's just take a record of who's in love with who here. So Melanie is in love with Jared, who's in love with Melanie and her body, which turns him on, but he's really in love with Melanie, not Wanderer. Wanderer is actually in love with Ian, who's in love with Wanda, essentially, but that involves the body of Melanie, and,
Yeah.
trust
Everybody
me,
got that?
it gets
Good.
even more messed up.
Good.
Do we need a shipping diagram?
Yes, yes, you're right. You
kinda
actually
need it,
you need a shipping diagram for
And
this.
somehow Uncle Jeb will fit in all of this.
Not even just that. Like
We're not in Alabama, Tio.
Not even just that. Like
Hold on,
and
time for one revelation. What did they do to the bodies?
How did
Is it
Melanie...
doctor
Oh,
and
okay,
everything?
question. How did Melanie know that she should turn around? Like, Melanie should know just
God.
as much as Wanda does.
Yeah,
I
Oh,
know
wait,
for
never
sure.
mind.
One question we might have had from the beginning, if it's so easy for the Seekers to actually insert the ones of their species inside their body, why did the human never tried to extract them and get back the humans? They tried and failed poorly.
So, apparently, trying to separate the host from the humans kills both of
Killed
them.
both of them.
I thought that.
Yes,
I thought
Don't
that
explain me how
monsters.
it works, I guess.
yeah,
Wanda's a
yeah.
fucking hypocrite, by the way.
We're the monsters, not the ones who took over the human. Oh wait.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who's the real monster?
Yeah,
Anyway.
again.
You know, for a second there, I thought the twist was going to be that these guys are actually savages and try to eat the aliens.
What, do you think this is Get Out, Dweebs? No, it doesn't work like that.
Anyway, yes, Pedro?
And since this is a Stephanie Meyer story, I have to once again rehash my complaint from the Twilight movies. These two couples are not in love. They're physically, they want to bone each other. There's a difference.
Which one?
Yes.
Both. Like Wanda, I don't even understand how the hell Wanda wants to bone Ian because physically she wouldn't be able to.
But Pedro, clearly there is a virus release that has made teenage girls want to get together with boys who
My
either assault
God,
them or
these
try and kill
transitions.
them.
You
did not need a fade in and out there. You're
Why
not
do
a
you keep
music
fading?
video.
As far as the movie tells us, these particular aliens don't have the concept of gender. Not that they explain it, at least. So how do we even know Wanda is a female if there even is a gender for this species?
Okay,
Like-
on that matter, I don't think it really matters overall.
I wonder
more
if
than
it's...
anything.
Okay, are we absolutely certain that they're genderless? Because they seem to refer to them with pronouns.
Yeah, true.
Honestly,
I
I
don't
think in Stephanie Meyer's mind, all she cares about is do they have the
The
equipment?
apparatus, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and
Which-
in
My
case
guess,
I
if
w-
I recall correctly from the dialogues, Jova, they mostly refer to each other as this one.
and on Jova's comment from earlier, I did check Andrew Nicole's Wikipedia page, and as far as I can tell, at least he hasn't directed any music videos.
So, did
Again,
Andrew Nichols do anything after this movie?
He did a
Yes,
couple of things after this.
Did
The last
he
thing I
get
think it
better?
was in 2018. No.
Oh,
It's
God.
okay, I don't think it got worse, but we haven't heard much of him, to be honest.
I've heard Good Kill was fine, and I haven't really heard anything about Anon.
So I guess this wasn't as much a blow to his career as the Predator was for Shane Black.
Basically. Well, remember, Java, this bombed and was panned, so...
But he at least still got to do something afterwards. Shane Black, to my knowledge, has not done anything after the Predator.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I can't believe I'm gonna say this. While it...
OJ Cable was in Good Kill as well.
You know...
Java, I'm with you. How dare you say... I can't believe it either. How dare you?
This might be a worse love story than Twilight.
Gee, you think?
I mean, I know it's popular to say still a better love story than Twilight, but I am sorry. Every inch of the romance of this is just a whole bucket. No. A whole tank full of no.
So, so basically...
I think they're on the same level just for different reasons.
No, I'm gonna have to side with Joe, but this is more problematic, even.
Like I said, it still has to take a lot to actually surpass imprinting on a toddler. I'm sorry.
I mean...
yeah, I guess. Sure.
Okay, look, imprinting on a toddler, that is bad, but this is rape upon rape upon rape. I would say that elevates it above it. Again, don't get me wrong, they're both terrible. But this is like...
All right. Next, speaking of plot point, next one is apparently Melanie has gone off radio silence, and we don't understand why.
You know, I didn't think...
Oh, go on.
I didn't think I'd ever have to consider the existence of multi-layered rape.
Oh, sure.
Well,
here we are.
Oh, sure. Okay, sure. Let's play a guessing game, okay? So...
no.
Somewhere in that head, Shiro, Melanie stopped talking, apparently. I mean, the movie does a very poor job explaining the passage of time. I still have no idea how long it's been since she got here.
Apparently,
the point is,
weeks.
Apparently, it's been at the very least, a few days since
No,
Melanie
more than
has...
that. Entire weeks, apparently.
No, whatever. The point is, it's been a long time since Melanie has actually said anything. So, one is starting to get worried. So, how do we try to make sure Melanie... Yeah, kiss me.
I was actually going to ask a question.
She is literally doing this just to get a rise out of Melanie. So you know what this means, guys.
Kiss me like you want to get slapped.
Kiss me like you want to get slapped.
So, you know...
Wow, he's into that apparently. But yeah, my question is she not talking because... like she's been reborn as a baby or something?
No, we don't.
Okay.
Okay. Ideally, we're about to find out. Ideally, she like went in a sort of coma or something.
Oh God! And don't worry, it gets better.
Okay, so kissing hunk number 2 didn't work, Shiro. So what do you think we should do?
Kiss hunk number 1.
No! I kid you not. We're gonna have a threesome.
Enter a polycule, although that's not the same.
Well, technically, we already had a threesome because there's 2 people in that body. Melanie's body, I mean. So we already had a threesome. So if anything, it would be a foursome.
Wait, but aren't these 2 brothers?
No, they're different.
Okay, thank fuck for that. Okay.
There's a fan theory between me and Dweebs that they're clones, but that's it.
Can you even imagine if Stephanie went the extra mile and said they're twins?
Well, remember, she's already done imprinting on a baby, so, you know, I wouldn't put incest
This
after.
is just a stupid excuse for her to kiss both of them in a row.
It's a poor excuse to set up a kissing scene,
Hey,
both in the book and this.
Meyer, I know Twilight made you a lot of money, but can you try and write something that isn't just a blatant, oh, 1 girl, 2 boys bout?
Well, I mean, everyone still has their shirts on, so that's a plus.
Let's see if this works.
Hold on, the shirts may be coming off.
Also, 180-degree shot.
Of wall sex.
Here we go.
Oh God, why did I have to come in on this?
It worked.
Oh, Melanie, you bit me. And he immediately identifies her biting as Melanie. Melanie clearly bit me.
She left for 3 days, apparently.
So, you know what this implies? This kind of implies that they had an abusive relationship where Melanie was apparently always physically hurting him, apparently? Because remember, every time...
No, hold on. Remember, this one... Wait, isn't this one Ian?
No, this is Jared.
Oh, God damn it.
Also,
Okay, you two need to stop wearing name tags.
Also,
Seriously.
remember what we mentioned about the plot point? Guess what? Apparently, the sickles that they used to harvest the grain were not even disinfected because the child's wound has been actually infected and now they need specific antibiotics.
Okay. So, here's one thing you may have noticed but we haven't mentioned yet. The aliens essentially have Resident Evil healing spray. I am not kidding. They literally have spray
It's not
that...
just healing. They also use them to tranquilize people because they have soporific, treatments for that.
I'm wondering if that's supposed to be like a different spray for that or something.
Why do you need 2 wounds? Wouldn't one be enough?
She just mentioned that she needs to cover the scar for them to not be suspicious about it.
Okay, but why would the scar be suspicious, though?
I have no idea. Although I have to, one minimal praise I have to say, this is a decent blood effect, at the very least.
Yeah. I mean, I'll tell you, if Neil Breen can do a great blood effect, anybody can.
Let's not forget that Frozen 2010 could not.
Okay. So here's the thing with healers. While they have healer as their first name, they at least have a distinct last name. So why does Wanderer just get Wanderer, and why does Seeker just get Seeker?
I get the idea they might be...
Stop asking questions and enjoy the story.
I get the idea they might be tied to their role as in a cast that's working for the greater good. Even though these aliens do not work in a collective consciousness. So
you see the wound is in the leg. See, so it was the leg. Yeah.
There we go.
I want to finish my earlier point, though. So, think about this. The last time Wanda kissed Jared, Melanie punched him, and he immediately recognized, oh, you punched me. Melanie, you are in there. And now after the second kiss, Wanda kisses Jared. Then Melanie bites Jared, and Jared recognizes that as, Melanie, you bit me. So this movie is kind of implying that when they were a couple, Melanie was physically hurting him on a regular basis.
Pedro.
Or he was into it. At best, he might be into it, but the story never suggests that.
I mean, if he's into it, sure, but the movie never makes it clear. As far as I can tell, she physically hurts him, and unless the movie confirms that he's into it, I'm going to... Knowing Stephanie Meyer, she didn't think about it, so yeah.
Look at that. This is going to be important as well.
Although, considering, they've done this several times, he probably is into this.
Not just, but that's the thing, Shiroi. Let's think about how Stephanie Meyer writes her characters. Mostly, the main characters that are love interests are supposed to be alpha males, so not subs. It will be completely in contrast with how we normally are written.
Maybe it's to give him hidden depths.
See, here's the thing. The reason I'm bringing it up, Shiroi, is because as far as this movie tells me, this is a relationship where Melanie constantly physically hurts him, and Jared physically assaults her. So they're both horrible for each other. So
it's not even a thing of we're made for each other.
Okay, I don't know if it's just me, but the Doctor looks a lot like President Barack Obama.
Well, Jova, I forgot the name of the actor, but he's the one who has been voice acting for Darth Vader in the Star Wars video games since the 90s.
Good on him. But yeah, look, see, you literally pull the spray over here and it heals anything. Again,
it completely heals even the putrefaction.
Yeah, that's not even science. That's just plain magic.
You might as well have in here the den just healing with his hands.
Okay, I think I figured out what the story is now.
You go on.
The story is about the rebellion, not really rebelling as such, more like trying to... Yeah, welcome to the days of the lives of the people of this rebellion against a bunch of people with blue eyes.
Again, guys, don't you see?
It's not even them rebelling against anything, it's just them doing things and going into store.
Also, by the way, guys, it's genius. See, in story, the aliens got rid of all product placement because they considered all.
That's their brilliant disguise, wearing sunglasses.
All right. Also, Patrick,
Glasses always work.
you ever
Just
noticed?
think about this for a moment. The fucking trench coat and fedora hat is actually a better disguise from in the
Okay.
TMNT 80s stuff.
Also,
Think
you
about that for
noticed?
a
Wait,
moment.
how did she got the body down there? He was right up there. In case you're wondering, you may notice that the Diane Kruger's character, her particular seeker, has essentially gone rogue, basically ignoring the orders of the others and trying to actually hunt them down on her own with a gun.
So here we are. It's time for the big climatic battle.
Wait, this is the climax?
I'm doing this like you humans do with a gun.
And there you go. She's down. I mean, she's not dead, but she's down.
Wow,
Okay.
the seeker finding them was barely an inconvenience.
Wow, okay, yes, okay.
It serves a purpose of what Wanda is trying to demonstrate to the others.
I know the movie only had a $40 million budget, but that was the best they could. I mean, the most action we got in this movie, the supposedly an action fantasy epic film, was that awful car crash we saw earlier.
But believe it or not,
Right.
sorry.
Now things are about to get even stupider because now we need to learn the motivation of the seeker and a thing that Wanda is about to do.
Yes, believe it or not, the most dumb twist has yet to rear its ugly head.
Yep.
She is her mother. Yeah. One thing I will say about this movie, it doesn't drag. This has gone by delightfully quickly.
Really? It doesn't drag? It's been dragging for me. I have no idea what the fuck this is.
There's so much going on to laugh about. I'm actually like, this is.
Sure. Why do you think me and my wife miss these? I demand more Stephanie Meyer adaptations, Hollywood. Give them to me.
Well.
You're part of the problem, Pedro.
Okay. To be fair, Pedro, Stephanie Meyer hasn't really written much else to adapt.
Question. Why is she so obsessed?
Oh God.
She said, "Duty."
Oh, come on.
But yeah. If I recall correctly, no. I mean, aside from the first of the Edward Cullen's perspective books, Stephanie Meyer has not written anything outside of Twilight since finishing it.
Yeah.
And this.
Yeah. That's a shame for me. That's the thing she writes. See, you say that. That's the thing. I went to see this movie, and the movie still bombed. So technically, there's no problem here.
So I'm curious, did the girls in the theater go gog over the boys like in the
I was
Twilight
going to say,
films?
how was your theater experience?
That's the thing, Shiroi. There was only like a few people in the theater. That's the thing. This movie was a bomb, Shiroi. Even the tween girls didn't care about this.
Here's what me and Joel were mentioning. We're about to get to a very dumb twist when it comes to the alien parasite.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Shiroi, take a wild guess. How do you get the aliens out of the bodies successfully? Without killing
Forcing them out did not
host and
work. It
parasites?
kills both of them.
Remember, they've insisted.
Lobotomy.
Nope.
You wish.
You'll see.
this is stupid.
Oh. Death by accident.
So,
like in Dark Knight Rises.
we're going to shoot her off where she might be someone else's problem. Though I guess
Yep.
Send her to Florida.
I do wonder if the intent was to build her up as a later threat.
Given
Because
how
here you
there
go.
were sequels in mind.
Melanie Wanderer did snatch one of these on Alien Pod. So yeah, it's their problem.
If she comes back for vengeance.
So physically, the idea is to steal inside the cortex and extract the parasite, but
How
there's
do
a key
you...
difference in that.
Mhm.
The music is trying to make this all sad, but I literally
on.
don't care about anyone or anything.
What?
They
Yep,
wanted to be your
the
friend the whole time.
the power of
But
love.
you need
Wow,
to
the
extract
power of
parasite.
So,
That's how you extract the parasite, with the power of love.
allow me. So, basically...
Humanity just had to learn compassion and
Okay,
fuck.
so basically the
everything.
lesson is, please, learn to love the beings that have enslaved you and taken away your free will, and then they'll come out. This is
Wait.
Stockholm Syndrome.
Okay, it's just a little guy.
Wait. Coaxing out an alien from the body of somebody who sort of doesn't want it with the power of love, and it's a really tiny creature. This is basically ripping off Fear Her from Doctor Who now.
Like I said, this is Stockholm Syndrome. You have to
And
love
there-
your
and Fear Her is
enslaver.
Why would you want to rip off anything from Fear Her? That's a shit episode.
And
This
also,
isn't
And I
Stockholm
love-
Syndrome. This is just stupid.
And I love how the Seeker parasite is perfectly okay with this. Despite the fact that
apparently...
she hated everyone and everything. So, but hold on, it's not even well, not this dumb, but we need to also explain how she was obsessed. Now, keep in mind that this is actually the original body, the original owner of the body, not anymore the
Yeah, yeah.
Seeker.
Yep.
Lacey Chabert? There you go. The reason she was so obsessed because she too had the host screaming in her head, but she actually actively suppressed her instead. So, you know how the fact that they built up Wanda to be special because she was the first to do it? Nope. There are basically a shit ton of the aliens who have the same conditions but are better at repressing it because they don't just love enough.
And again, it's just like Twilight. Oh, how could it ever be that a human and a vampire... Actually, no. There have been several of us that did it before. Renesmee is not the first. Like, I swear, did Stephanie Meyer just realize that she can't write a story other than Twilight, and that's why she eventually just reverted to making a perspective flip of a story?
Bye.
Again, she totally won't come back with a vengeance or anything.
A sci-fi movie that's for people who don't like sci-fi. Who the fuck is this for?
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, Stephanie Meyer said that this is a sci-fi story for people who are not fans of science fiction.
Which as a concept on its own is insulting to the work of art of fictional media in general. Like,
Yeah. Like, hey, here's a better idea. Don't make a sci-fi story then.
Hang on,
Maybe
wait.
it's to try to bridge people into the genre. Like, I could maybe think that that's what she wanted to go for, but
But hang on.
in her own weird Stephanie Meyer way.
Hang on. We got 23 minutes left. How are we going to fill that out?
Well, remember, Dibs, Melanie's still in.
One thing that she
sorry.
mentioned to the doctor is that in exchange for this knowledge, she, Wanderer, wants to die and leave Melanie the control of her own body. Exchange.
So yeah, Wanda wants to leave the body, but that would mean she would have to die. So
And apparently Melanie doesn't even want this, despite the fact that this is her natural right.
Don't you see? Melanie's grown too attached to Wanda and loves her. Some bull crap.
Because we totally felt that, like, seriously, like the movie doesn't earn a single thing. These characters barely have any kind of emotional attachment to each other.
Again, let me just reiterate. In order to separate...
Sorry.
Oh, snap.
Go on, Joe.
In order...
Jared, that thing is done. It's not that thing's fault. Come on.
Look,
Objection!
let me reiterate. In order to separate the host from the humans have to love their captors. They're the people who enslave them. That is like super Stockholm Syndrome and incredibly messed up. But okay, ignoring that, this movie fails at what Beauty and the Beast, the Disney version, succeeded in massively. Not only averting Stockholm Syndrome, but showing how the two subjects really did fall in love with each other. The thing is, it is not impossible that upon learning to understand each other, Melanie and Wanda could have formed some form of love for each other. The problem is, the film wasted its time on stupid teenage drama romance hijinks between Melanie's body and Jared and Ian instead of actually focusing on the relationship of Melanie and Wanda. And this is incredibly messed up because they're constantly talking between each other in the movie. Yet somehow they failed to build up their relationship enough to make this even plausible. And granted, I know it's technically someone else probably coaxing the body out, but all the same...
Why? Again, why? Why do you love each other? You have literally zero knowledge about each other.
This one's Ian, right?
Yeah.
Yes, it's Ian.
Right,
Yes.
yeah.
I love at this point Trova is not even certain recognizing each of them.
At first I had a system for it, but shoot, now the lighting is throwing me off.
Well, you know what they say, Java, in the wise words of Seto Kaiba, if at first you don't succeed, blast them with your blue eyes again!
Melanie is not here right now. Please leave a message.
She stepped into the other room so I can kiss you. What does that even mean? We've seen that. Oh wait, has Melanie now mastered the ability of being able to turn off her consciousness?
This is also the weird thing about it. Like, where physically is Melanie? If she can actually see what Wanda sees and everything, but doesn't have control of her body, like, is she present in her brain and has access to her cognitive functions?
The implication of this scene is that apparently Melanie has finally found a way to shut off her consciousness when she wants to, but we sure weren't explained how that worked. Like, Meyer... okay, maybe she explained it better in the book, but story! Would it kill you to explain things?
Poorly.
Okay, so what's the book's way of explaining how she figured out how to do it?
Again, it's not even, it's more of a thing of Wanda checked, quote-unquote checked if Melanie responded to her, you know. And again, in the book is presented with the standard thing, as in italics to represent the inner thoughts of someone, in this case to represent Melanie. But again, it probably is presented better in a book because you know it's paced, but on a physicality level in a movie, it just feels odd that Melanie is. It would make sense if she were like Firestorm, where the conscience of the second person is a floating head that goes nearby the pilot. Like,
you know what this story is?
I have to comment on this. Wanda, my sister, do not do this. Yes, sister. So now she's even calling her sister.
No,
yeah,
no,
yeah,
no.
It has to be this way.
This was not earned in the slightest. Now they're referring to each other as sisters.
Like, yes, it's a nice thing that Wanda did, outside of the sexual thing, Wanda did not abuse the body on a physical level, at least as far as we know.
I want to actually point out a positive. Like,
But
Not
I
for
feel
lack
like-
of trying, but yes, Pedro.
I actually do want to point out this positive. I actually really like Saoirse Ronan's monologue in this scene. Like, it's an entire scene that's shot of her, so of course it's entirely care about her. And she does a good. She's trying really hard to sell this. It's a good demonstration of some really good acting on her part. It's just that it's all for naught because the plot.
She's
sucks
wasted
shit.
in this.
Honestly,
really is.
all I'm imagining is the behind the scenes of this, where she's doing this take, while at the same time the director is just standing over her, pointing the camera straight down at her face.
So
That's what acting is.
I gotta
You
wonder.
can see the trauma in her eyes.
So I gotta wonder. Did
Oh yeah, I know. It's just well,
in
this
case
movie's
you're
so,
wondering,
this movie's so
Shiri,
uninteresting. That's all I'm thinking of.
outside of some shot, yes, all characters who were, were supposed to be, possessed by aliens had to wear contact lenses, and they mentioned they were quite painful.
Yeah,
I don't wear contacts. They're very finicky.
I've used
I
contact
mentioned this
lenses
also
before.
I
Oh,
mentioned
boy.
this also to my family. When inevitably, because it's a process with aging, when
I want
inevitably my eyes start to failing, I'm gonna wear glasses for the rest of my life.
So I want to address something. Okay, so yeah, for as terrible as it is on Earth, well, at least one that gets to commit a more noble sacrifice
with a
for the
single
greater
sexy
good.
tear.
With a single tear and all that shit. Okay,
Movie's
Alright.
over, right?
movie's over, right?
They're gonna sequel hook this movie that never got sequels, aren't they?
Yes, but we're
Because
not.
this was a book series.
hold on.
So
Wait, what?
Wanda, go towards the light.
That's the thing, That's the thing, Shira. There's not even sequel books or anything. This is it. This is.
I
where the
thought there
story
was a
ends.
sequel book.
No.
Oh wait,
No,
hold
there was
on.
supposed to be. But
Ready for the
Wait,
big
I thought-
surprise?
Wait, how is Wanda alive?
But what's this? She's seeing Melanie.
Oh my god, it's
Dun, 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 dun. Monty Python's Flying Circus.
What's this? It looks
it's.
like Wanda
A
has
completely
become a
different
real
person.
girl.
Wait, that's
How?
Violet from Series of Unfortunate Events.
How
Yeah.
did that happen?
That's literally the same actress. That's Emily
Oh,
Browning.
Hold on, they're going to explain.
Yes, that's Emily Browning.
Emily,
Is she on a quest to find a worse movie than Sucker Punch?
apparently,
Uh-huh.
that doesn't make any sense.
Oh, this.
Hold on.
Oh, how convenient.
Okay.
How
So
fucking convenient.
okay. So keep in mind, normally the hosts have been taking humans alive, but this body wasn't. I guess the body was dying. So
Yeah,
conveniently
apparently.
now.
Again, how convenient, and how convenient that it's on a body that is roughly the same age and physical similarities to the one of Melanie.
You know what would be a true test of love?
If it
the
was
one
Danny
bo-
DeVito, like as
if it was a man.
Yeah. If it was a man. Now, okay. Here's your test to see if you truly love Wanda. Now she's in the body of a man.
Wait,
you still
so-
love her?
oh.
There you go. Let's test
And you
that
know
true
what's
love shit
and
right
you know
now.
what's the worst part about this particular bit?
Oh
You
my
wanna know
god,
how-
rain out in the desert just for the stupid
Also,
love
wait,
kiss scene.
similar.
Well, the grain
Similar-
needs to grow. at
Well,
some
I wouldn't
point.
say similar in age. Browning was 24 at this point when they were filming it.
And yet she looks younger than Sasha. Like, that's the
Anyway,
thing.
you want to know
Listen,
what the
Doc, I said I wanted to die. What the fuck are we doing
you want
about
to know
it?
what the character of Emily Browning is supposed to be called, even though she was never mentioned by name?
Oh, right.
Yeah.
You're not saying anything important.
Bravo! Oscar bait line.
Anyway.
So, movie's over, right? Nope. Months later, Frank, did you ghost road this?
How many months later?
Just
Months.
mums.
Just months.
And they don't even specify.
But anyway, just to mention, the character
they're
of
gonna
Emily
get into another
Browning
car crash.
is supposed to be called apparently Pet.
Oh,
yeah, is
God.
this gonna end like a Final Destination movie?
I wish.
But hey, look at the bright side. Both Wanda and Melanie get their own abusive boyfriends.
Well- Oh boy, here we go.
At least they have their own.
Yes, there's
autonomy.
nothing suspicious about people wearing sunglasses at night.
Also, that guy looks like a younger version of the actor who played Sabretooth in X-Men Origins Wolverine.
Huh.
Lev Schreiber.
Just a younger version of that, just the similarities. I know it's not him.
Why are you driving in the middle of the
I
city?
think it's
Don't
Alex
you-
Russell.
No, seriously, I want to ask, why are they even here in the middle of the city where they can easily get caught in the first
Oh,
place?
here
Why?
we go. But wait for it.
I mean, yeah.
Oh.
I'm in love. In more ways than
Hold
one.
on,
As
there's-
He's about to throw up.
And yeah, this was
Hold on,
just a fake out.
Wait for it.
And Yen's like, wait, Wanda, did you just friend zone me? I think it's a bit late for that, isn't it?
Yeah. So it turns out there were other human resistances
Not
that
only
also.
that, but other seekers are actually defecting towards the human race.
Interesting.
So
But that's
basically,
because
this
humans are
movie,
so special,
this
Teo,
movie
because
was
they
just-
feel.
this movie was just basically a setup for actually having the resistance, and I guess the sequel was gonna build up on that and forcing the actual seekers on a warpath against the humans.
Okay,
But there was no
Shiro,
sequel, so
Shiro, you're never gonna guess what kind of song we get in the credits. Imagine
What?
Dragons.
Why this song?
Hey, it's just like Splatoon 2.
Of course.
Also, is it me or did they spell? Is Stephanie Meyer's name spelt right?
Yes,
I
I
don't
believe
know.
so.
who cares?
Let me just. Okay, I want to address that, by the way. The movie. Okay, so in this epilogue, they're just driving around in the city for no apparent reason, even though obviously it's a very dangerous and very careless thing to do because you're bound to get spotted by seekers.
It's
What
literally
the fuck are you doing?
It's literally just so that they can set up this stupid dumb crap.
It really is. It's just so dumb.
Oh,
So,
wait,
again,
no, that's a good
basi-
point. I wonder if they did spell her name right.
So yeah, there's no post-credit scene, so Wanda, Melanie, whatever.
Good, I can turn this off
Let me
now.
ju-
Would
let me
never
just
be
finish.
invited to any
Before
initiative.
Dweb starts, before Dweb starts his final thoughts, I want to mention something. Let's just, like we imply with the April Fool's gag, let's just say Megaton Musashi handles these topics much better and move on.
Yeah.
Okay, go on, Dwebs.
Well, this was shit.
You don't say.
You don't say.
And to be honest, unlike Shu, sure, I gotta ask you, what film were you watching? Because aside from that horrible car crash and a couple of other bits and pieces, honestly, I was just bored stiff throughout this thing.
I had a lot to complain about.
Mm-hmm.
Kept me
Not
busy.
boring.
Are you guys watching another film called The Host that came out in 2013? Because of,
Let me put things into
because-
perspective, Dwibs.
I'm being
well,
serious. Like,
let me
it didn't drag for me.
Like, here's the thing. This movie gave us so much to talk about that, of course, we weren't bored. Like, let me put it this. When a movie bores us, that's normally when we are struggling to talk about something, or if it's just, like, these long bits of nothing. Oh, stuff is happening! Terrible, terrible stuff is happening, but by all means, it's going and flowing.
Also,
Terribly.
Dibs, someone might be agreeing with you, but in a different way. I wasn't going to mention the doing different thoughts, but just to mention, one of the reviews that are present, where are not the more famous, is the one of Chris Tuckman, which he mentioned that he was basically bored and he was more amused in sense of laughing at the movie. But quite a lot of comments on his review are creepily saying that they enjoyed a lot of things. And just to mention one, because I will mention others doing my final thoughts, that it fits with you, Dibs. This comment made when the movie came out mentions what I respect his review. After years of action-oriented CGI battle fest and cable monster movies, this low-paced character-oriented drama was quite refreshing to me.
Okay, there are two.
You don't watch, do you?
Okay, there are two problems with that statement. One, what characters, and two, what drama.
It's like, one, it's a lie.
Yeah,
God,
that comment is a freaking lie. I mean, I had no clue what was this film even meant to be about. It started off as a rebellion against these.
It's about love.
What if aliens were people?
Well, I hadn't quite finished my point yet. What 1 minute is about the rebellion against these aliens that take over, then it just spins its wheels and meanders throughout like the rest of the first and all of the second act into just being a bunch of twats arguing in a cave.
Yeah.
And the final act is, we're doing something to try and get rid of these creatures, but also learn stuff from them. So we're gonna do this weird thing at the end where the spores take over this random girl we haven't seen yet. And that's it. It's just a movie about that can't decide what it wants to be about, so it just decides not to be about anything. And it's like I said, the characters are really, really fucking boring. I mean, you'd think with the premise of a bunch of spore things that look like dandelions taking over humans, I'd have thought it would have been at least somewhat funny. But no, most of the humor doesn't come from the concept. It just comes from the bad car crash scenes.
It really...
And that happened like twice. So 2 really funny moments happened in a 2-hour movie. The rest of it was just a bunch of boring talking.
Leaves, what about the thrilling climax where the Seeker threatens people at gunpoint and immediately Uncle Jeb teleports behind her and shoots with a shotgun?
I've got no clue on that one, to be honest. The acting, yes, I know it's a Stephanie Meyer adaptation, but there's only so many times I can hear the same excuse for poor acting. I mean, Saoirse Ronan, her voice acting in this movie is terrible. Again,
that 5 years
baffles
after
the
this,
fuck out of me.
she was actually nominated for an Oscar.
Yeah.
And everyone else is just really dull. Like they don't want to be there. We got the 2 hunky clones who have all the personality of bread. We've got the late William Hurt, who, well, to be honest, he was just about as boring here as he was in Lost in Space.
And from what we've heard,
you can definitely tell he was just here for a paycheck.
And given how, I'm sorry, I know he can act better. He was ironically the best actor in The Village, of all things, but man, there's a reason he's remembered more so for his bad acting, because no, this is really how he is in most of his films.
Yeah. And again, I don't want to speak ill of the dead or anything, but to be honest, I'd imagine the memory of the dead would find it more patronizing if we just all of a sudden said, "Oh no, they were always good."
It's very easy as long as your criticism is constructive. It's not just a mindless rant about it. It is actually fair to just judge how the actor provided their job.
Yes, and also, it's like I said as well, I'd imagine it'd be quite patronizing to just turn around and say, "Oh no, they were always good." It's like it'd be like saying, "Oh no, Patch Adams was good just because of what happened with Robin Williams."
It's
The music, honestly, I mean, even if that was just kind of bang average, I think the music was the best part of this movie.
The composer,
like-
as I checked, is Brazilian. Is mostly worked for
It's
Brazilian
like-
movies.
It's just like in Lost in Space. The music has to do most of the acting for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
so what
and
you're
how it's
saying is that this is a stealth sequel to Lost in Space.
Brilliant.
this is what happened. All the characters in Lost in Space, aside from William Hurt, who escaped to Earth,
So
became these
Lacey
spores and took over people.
And Lacey Chabert became blonde and aged, I guess.
I suppose. Yeah, but also, yeah, gee, no wonder this film. No wonder, never mind, the book never got a sequel. The film didn't get one either.
Yeah.
Okay, strike that, reverse it, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Anything else I can mention?
What about the actual love, quote unquote?
Love, really?
Yeah.
That's what you're gonna call it.
The romance.
What the
in
movie
this.
passes for it.
Again, okay. Putting aside how, okay, I don't know how long they filmed this, but putting aside how kind of icky it is, having I sincerely hope to fuck that Ronan was 18 when they filmed this, and her birthday just coincided when they were filming, because if she wasn't,
Yep.
I don't want to think about that anymore. Putting that aside, what romance? Most of it was just the person inside who's trying to resist just hitting the boys because, well, they forced themselves on us. So yeah, and then just not doing that anymore.
Let's just say it was the woman in the interview we're gonna watch in a couple moments. She tries to give an answer to why this is, and let's just say the answer is how shall I put this? Discomforting.
Yeah, I didn't like it when they did it in Wonder Woman 84, and I sure as hell don't like it here.
Well, that's a good question, Dweebs. Do you think it's on the same level or worse here compared to Wonder Woman 1984?
It's a shitty act either way. So honestly, I even think that question even merits.
I do believe so,
I'm gonna say
considering
it's worse.
There are different ways to look at the thing. On one end, there's more quantity in terms of shittiness. On another, you may judge in terms of what they actually do with it.
If I
both-
may, in terms,
Like I said, I don't want to really. I'm
Well,
trying.
I asked
my best not to
Dweeb's opinion, Jova. You can tell me yours when your final thoughts are.
Yeah, I'll just say it up front. It's gross. It's gross either way, and I don't want to think about it anymore. And to be fair, this movie is so bland and boring and forgettable. Literally, when I saw the cinematic extra review of this film, you know the one thing I remember?
Mm-hmm.
That end credits song.
Yeah, the Imagine Dragons one. Which, again, why is it even there? Because it was popular at the time, I guess?
That's probably it. Okay, that's really about it. It's the host, when it's not being gross, it's boring.
Okay, everybody. Before we move on to the final thoughts, I have a little surprise.
Yeah.
You believe it or not, there's an interviewer who interviewed both Saoirse Ronan and Hunks number 1 and 2.
Jared
And
Ian.
there's a point where Saoirse Ronan actually starts questioning the implications of this thing, even saying, as she puts it, isn't this kind of rapey? I want you guys to listen to this, because let's just say the interviewer's reaction to that question is very telling.
Especially what the host says about it, ironically, the host of a talk show.
It's very telling. Like, when I first saw this interview, I was like, okay, I guess it's just it. This is made for dumb girls who don't understand the moral ramifications of these things. All right, everybody. Start. Is that link in the description?
Yeah.
Okay. 3, 2, 1, click. This was back around the time that the movie was about to come out. The bit that I
She looks like she does not want to be here.
The bit that I would just mention starts at the 45-second mark, but let's just see the build up into it, just so we know. There you go, Shiroi. That's who this movie is for. These kinds of people right here.
All right. Oh.
Hold on. There you go. You see, Shiroi. Apparently, every girl wants to be kissed like this, passionately.
For the record,
These are the kind of people who read 50 Shades, but go on, Tia.
For the record, that kind of talk show, in case you're wondering, no, it's not supposed to be a comedic thing like the one of Jimmy Kimmel or or Stephen Colbert. No, it's supposed to be a genuine, serious interview where the host relaxedly talk with the people involved with the movie.
Yep. So there you go, everybody. If you ever wondered who are these movies for, there you go. Oh, there's one of them right there.
A dating game, you say?
Look, people like me and Dad tend to be simps, and everything. But we tend to actually, consider at least a given the fact that there's to be, consent on both parts.
I mean, Netflix, I think it was Netflix, did make this show where it's literally a blind date. You're talking to someone you can't see, and then you see him later on.
This also is a problem because, remember, this show is called Young Hollywood. So supposedly this is aimed at young people. So you're basically putting this in this very impressionable audience, the idea that, oh, don't you see, boys, girls want to be kissed passionately like that, like forcibly, clearly. Like, Jesus Christ.
Huh.
Hilarious.
Isn't it funny, Shiroi?
I'm losing brain cells.
Are we too much out of touch for these people?
No, it's not that you're out of touch. It's mostly that these people are. I'm gonna go as far. I'm gonna go here. These people are just plain stupid. That's it.
Tio, at the time this came out, we technically were the age of the target audience.
Well, maybe you, Jova. You have to remember, me and Pedro are just a tad older than
What? What? Okay.
Listen, I didn't even like the Twilight movies.
What? So basically, me as a 20-year-old would have liked this.
No. This was at least 9 or actually no, 10 years ago.
Almost. Well, actually, more. Almost.
10.
Almost
2013. 2013. So yeah, 10 years old. Yeah.
What a great anniversary.
The 10th anniversary of the host, everybody.
So yeah, so let's see.
It's a good thing there's something better that has a 10-year anniversary there.
These three very clearly do not want to be here.
I'm free.
Just be patient, Libs.
Well, it's the same thing as with Twilight, Shiroi, because Robert Pattinson hated doing the Twilight movies. He only did those to kickstart his career. But he has openly stated that he hates the Twilight franchise and he's glad to be rid of it.
Again, keep in mind, he was the one Harry Potter actor who wasn't typecast for being in Harry Potter. I wonder if he regrets that given what he actually got pigeonholed for.
Yeah.
There you go, series. Trisha Rowan agrees with you on something.
Tea is not what I'm drinking right now.
I'm with you in spirit, Shire, because sadly this night I could not bring the alcohol.
Spirit.
I can't do it either.
Oh yeah, we never looked back after the Chappie commentary.
Oh my god, it's just like, this is just like...
God, I remember finding that DVD of all things in a HMV once.
They're barely even talking about the movie.
Jova, you're the youngest here. Help me. Where do we even find these people exactly?
What, the
I mean,
actors?
there's a joke in my country, Pedro. They give them as...
I think he means the host.
The host. Yeah. Where do we even find these people?
There's a
Hollywood.
popular joke in my country when it comes to, dumb people. They get, given for free as bonuses with washing detergent.
They're barely even talking about the movie, to be honest. And although, to be fair, I will agree with Saoirse finding her fingernails more interesting than this conversation.
But yeah, that showcases I guess part of the target audience of this movie. Hooray!
Hooray!
Gee, no wonder no one went to see it.
Anyway, who's next up for the final thoughts?
Sure?
Yeah, sure, why not? I won't be long anyway. Yeah, this was pretty shit, but it still didn't drag, as I said. Can't really say much about the music because there was barely any, but they were going a bit too hard on the dramatic scenes because the scenes didn't really deserve it. I really you really shouldn't be laughing at several characters killing themselves, but this movie made us do that. So
hey, just like The Happening.
That should tell you everything.
Honestly, when it comes to laughing about the death, I laugh even harder at somehow a child managed to scythe himself in the fucking ankle. I don't even know how the hell is that even possible. Like
I said, if it was the arm, then whatever. But no, they confirm it's the leg. So yeah, how did he just do it for the lulz? Maybe. I don't know. The romance. That's a thing that exists. Creepy.
But sure, doesn't every girl want to be kissed passionately like that?
No.
We need to discuss the terms of passion.
Consent is important, even when passion is involved.
There is a fine art in simping, but there still needs to be communication with people.
You need to simp respectfully.
Yes.
Seriously, if we were any older, Stephanie Meyer might have them so much as going to the point of the men beating the women over with a club and dragging them back to a cave, prehistoric style.
But hey, sure, look at the bright side. At least it's offensive to everybody, not just one gender.
Yeah,
so
there's that.
We can all be annoyed together.
The thing is, both Melanie and Wanda are both attracted to men who had violent first encounters with them. Jared nearly killed Melanie because he initially thought she was one of the aliens before forcing himself on her when he realized that she was human because potentially repopulate the Earth bullcrap, but I digress, they fell in love. And same with Ian and Wanda, because Ian started off wanting to kill Wanda. But then they saw each other's personalities and fell in love.
What personality? I'm gonna have to pull out whibs now. Like seriously, like that's the thing. Like there's these characters have all the personality of a wood board.
The personality
yeah,
of
that's
the story
why I can't
could not be bothered to show. Get back to you, Shuri.
No. That's why I can't take anything that happens to them seriously, good or bad, because they just don't make us care at all.
But sure, the aliens were killed. Don't you feel sad when Wanda's crying over her fellow enslavers just dying?
I've seen cardboard more interesting than the alien characters.
Again, Saoirse Ronan tries her hardest to sell this shit, but it's just no use.
So what do you think of the alien design, Shiroi?
They're just white suits. Like, I don't get it.
With chrome vehicles.
What do you think of the apparent discovery of cloning that has apparently gone on in here? Seriously, I can't. Seriously, even Jova got to a point where he couldn't even tell these two apart.
As I said, they need name tags.
I'm
Like I
convinced
said,
those.
gender swap Natalie Portman and Keira Knightley in Star Wars Episode 1.
The thing is, that was actually a plot point, though, there. Here, I'm convinced they only got them because, they're two hot boys.
Basically.
Yep.
I mean, substance in a Stephanie Meyer story isn't something that should be expected.
Well, that's the
honestly.
thing. When you do get substance, it's horrifying substance.
And I can't even say, because this is something I was going to mention in my final thoughts, but I can't even say this because apparently this movie came out not long after the Twilight Saga ended in terms of movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I can't even say, maybe the audience that was into those movies had grown up out of them. It's like, no, they were still probably within that age bracket. So yeah, it was really just a flop movie.
Remember, Shiwa, the final Twilight movie came out in 2012. This came out in 2013, only a year later.
Okay.
There was not really any time for the audience to quote unquote. I mean, okay, unless maybe it really was that one major bit of bad luck where in between 2012 and 2013, all the teenage girls of the Twilight finally hit that age where they grew a brain.
That's the thing, though. Breaking Dawn still was making money, both movie-wise and book-wise, essentially. So, I mean, seriously, though, how bad a downfall does it have to be that right off the tail end of your incredibly popular series, your next one's a flop? And I'm not saying that this is unheard of, but I think this is something that even the most diehard fans did not save this.
I don't remember anyone going over the box office for this movie, so what was that?
40 million budget, like 63.3, I think, as recouping. So yeah, it was a flop.
Damn. Yep. Okay. Yeah, I don't think I have much else to say. The romance being the biggest problem of this movie, and yeah, the age of the actress is incredibly questionable. I think that's it. This was just an awful, awful movie. Whoever's next, just
Pedro,
go for it.
I don't know what you're talking about, Shiro. This was a great comedy.
You're part of the problem, as I said.
Jova?
Sorry, what was that to you?
Should we tell him, Jova?
Sure, why not?
Pedro, I'm sorry. It's not supposed to be a comedy.
Yeah, I mean, this
that
may
doesn't
come.
mean that. Oh yeah, I'm aware of that too. That doesn't mean I can't still watch it as one.
Oh, Pedro, let me introduce you to 50 Shades of Grey, then.
No, that's the thing, Jova. 50 Shades of Grey is the opposite of what the Twilight of the Stephanie Meyer stuff. The books are hilarious. The movies are boring. They're so boring, seriously. Because see, here's the thing. I had a coworker who was a fan of the 50 Shades of Grey's books, and guess what? She used to read it on our break, and she and I would read it with her. Those books are hilarious. The fact that they removed all the narration from the movie is criminal, because that movie could have been another great comedy. Because, like I said, I'm not even kidding. For those of you who are not aware, audience, to give you an idea, there's a line in that book where Anastasia finally gets to see Christian Grey naked, right? And I'm not even kidding you. Her narration reaction is, and I quote, "His erection springs free. Holy cow!" I'm not kidding, by the way. That's the actual line.
Like, it's kind of become a challenge for people to read bits of dialogue from that book without trying to laugh.
Is that one of the lines that Gilbert Gottfried would eventually read?
Surprisingly.
Oh, we didn't? Oh, I have to go back and
Not that particular line? Okay. Carry on.
I'm surprised didn't put that. That line is like a fucking no-brainer.
It doesn't matter either way. I can hear it in his voice.
My favorite still remains the one with one mention. I agree to no fisting, but I would really like to claim your ass.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
No, trust me, Shirai. The book is hilarious. Go check out the Let's Read or insert person here reads video of that thing. Don't bother with the movies. The movies are boring as fuck. Just read. Just.
I was never going to watch the movies, but I might see if I can find an excerpt from the book on YouTube being read out.
I really have to wonder, is E.L. James just a simple hack or an evil genius for being able to make literally fan fiction into a money-making franchise?
Just think about this, Shiroi. It's a fanfic of a fanfic. It's fanficception.
And
also, Jova, do not underestimate middle-aged women, okay? Because that is, like, I don't know how it was where the rest of you live, but around here, like, all the TV presenters, all the mothers, like, just anyone within that bracket were fawning over these books like they were some legit erotica, and it's like, what is wrong with you people?
See, that actually boils down to one of my things in my final thoughts. But don't you see, Shira? This is the new thing, like fanfics of fanfics. Amazing, right? Like,
it's more common than you think, probably.
No. Sure. It may be common, but it's not often that sort of stuff legit gets licensing and becomes an official money-making franchise like 50 Shades did.
I mean, the only... okay. And
carry on.
Like Jova mentioned, yes, this also boils down to one of my personal big problem in terms of complaints. I say to the audience of this movie the same thing I said to the audience of the Twilight movies. We are no longer in the 90s, okay? If you want porn, you can get porn. It's literally a Google search away.
Oh, if you're watching this movie of all things for porn, you're beyond desperate, because at best you get maybe a bit of make-out and obscure nude pics.
That's the thing. That's the thing, Jova. Like I've explained in our Twilight commentaries, every time I went to see these movies, especially the first couple of them, like every time there was like a big kissing moment or a moment where Jacob takes off his shirt or whatever, like there will always be a very concentrated group of teenage girls slobbing over what was on screen. Like,
of course.
They were horny as fuck.
Of course.
I saw things, Jova, you don't understand. I saw things in that theater that I'm pretty sure I wasn't meant to see. Okay.
Oh, of course, Twilight, I'll give you. It's this movie I'm talking about. Like, this movie doesn't even really have people going shirtless often. Sure, yeah, we get like a bath scene, but shoot, bath scenes are tame, honestly.
Admittedly, this is actually tame.
Basically, Shiro, you know how we've talked about how I absolutely hate this stupid thing in media where they try to portray the boys as the ones who are constantly horny and thinking of sex, and the girls are not interested at all, and they're all pure and angelic and shit like that. You know, it all started back in 2008 because what I saw in there, I'm like, guys, go watch a Twilight movie and tell me tell me in my face that that's true, because it's not even just a one-off thing. I literally saw a fucking army of teenage girls literally going.
You know, that may be the one regret in life I have, is not getting to see that live.
No, trust me, Jova. It's an experience like no other. I wish I had the presence of mind to bring an audio recorder so I could record that shit.
Pedro, I know you don't use Twitter, but please, one day, just go on K-pop Twitter and observe it like you're David Attenborough. Please.
No. I know you've told me that, but you told me that. It's just that I've seen, like I've said, I've seen shit in that theater that I'm pretty confident I wasn't supposed to see. I'm not even kidding you, sure. By the time I got to Eclipse, you can think I'm crazy. I'm pretty confident that some of those girls were doing the jiggle, if you know what I mean.
Oh God.
Like, because I don't know, they were like completely like shaking their bodies and everything. They were just like it's like seriously, it's quite the sight. Like you teenage girls, you're amazing because like okay, maybe it's just me, but every teenage boy that I knew growing up, we were horny, but at the very least when we were in public, we were subtle about it. Okay, maybe we would quietly move our face like through a girl's cleavage, and we take our mental snapshot and shit. That's it. We're very subtle about it. These girls, and they're like in the middle of a fucking crowd. They're like going all fucking slobby and like, and it's just like, I'm just like, oh my god, like you are aware that you are in public, right? Trust me, like it's an experience. But whatever. The point is,
bringing this back to the host,
if you want
though.
porn, yeah. If you want porn, you can get porn girls. It's literally a Google search away,
And
you can find dicks of all sizes, all shapes, anything.
again,
The point is,
Twilight
the house is
better
terrible.
than this.
Oh, it is. Twilight is like even as porn, like even in terms of the whole porn thing, this is shit porn even by Twilight standards.
Exactly. I mean, again, like I said, if you're looking at this movie, The Host, for porn, no, you'd be better off looking at a comic book for that stuff.
The boys don't even take off their shirts.
Like again, the
There's
sex scenes
one
are
implied scene of sex, and that's just a dream sequence.
a wet dream, if you will.
Yeah. The basic point is, okay, the host is terrible. The plot makes no sense. The world building is non-existent. Even when it does try to do something even remotely close to world building, it's once again nonsensical. The characters are stupid. The romance is all kinds of nope. The music is bland. Personally, I didn't care for the music. Like Andrew Nichols' direction is stupid. Like seriously, what was up with that car? Can't you? Okay, Andrew, never direct a car crash again. It's clear to me that you can't do those things.
There were also other minor things, but we didn't mention that people like Adam noticed, like during the scene where they drag their body, the camera pans down and the people start walking, and you can tell that it's basically we're just waiting the sign of the director and say and go. Which is very amateurish.
The point is, this movie absolutely sucks. That being said, yeah, like if I watch it as a comedy, like I said, me and Vanessa went in, we were expecting a laughable train wreck, and that's what we got. So I'm not complaining. I still have a lot of blast watching because, again, the idea is that just pretend this is a comedy and try your best to ignore the problematic shit, and you'll have fun because there's a lot of stuff to riff on. So yeah, The Host. It's a shame. It's the end of an era. The end of the Stephenie Meyer adaptation movies. And I'm not gonna lie, I kind of missed that era. I had fun. It was a good run, but I guess the run is over.
You know, it's something of a mixed blessing. On the one hand, a talentless hack won't be able to exploit the idiocies of media and the Hollywood and the teenage mind as much. But what have we lost from it? A rip-roaring bout of entertainment and just absolute buffoonery that brought smiles to our faces.
Yeah, you say I'm part of the problem. That's the thing. The problem eventually died by itself.
That's true.
Again, like I said, for as dumb as people can be, apparently the mass majority have the common sense to not just run with this because, yeah, no, this is beyond toxic.
Also, Sheila, I don't consider it a problem because every time me and Vanessa went to see one of these movies, we will get three great things out of it. One, we would have a laugh. We would laugh our asses off. Two, we would do some scientific studying of the teenage girl mind. And third, we were able to go back home, laugh about it, and do proper romance.
Anyway,
that's the thing. No, that's the thing. Like, you have to understand. Like, whenever we went to watch these, we had a blast watching them. So I don't consider this a problem. As far as I'm concerned, this is just. I'm not paying for the movie. I'm paying for a spectacle of the audience right next to me. That's what I'm paying for. Because I don't know. Are we absolutely certain the actual thing we were paying for is not? It was not the observing the teenage girls in a scientific experiment in the actual movies. I mean, last time I'm still convinced these movies were just there so that we could use them as experiments on teenage girls. That's how I choose to look at this franchise. That's how I see this. I don't see this as movies. Sure, I see these as social experiments involving the teenage girl brain. That's what I see this as. That's it. I'm done.
I wonder if
So,
Vanessa was able to offer some insight into that.
No, that's the thing. She herself absolutely doesn't like these movies, and she absolutely hates any teenage girls who likes these movies because remember, Vanessa is only like 2 years older, 2 years younger than me. But even she will go back. She basically will often pull a "back in my day" type of argument.
I see. Okay.
anyway, Java.
Yeah, no, this is rancid. From the absolutely bonkers moral to the premise itself. And the premise is not inherently bad, but it's handled terribly. Every bad implication that you might have had from Twilight is fully realized in this production. It almost feels as if Meyer was holding herself back in Twilight and figured, okay, now it's time to really let loose with the crap in this one. Good gravy. Oh, it is bad. So, the romance is a spider web of a mess. This guy loves this girl, this guy loves the body, the flesh is willing, but the mind certainly isn't, which makes this rape upon rape. How lovely and terrible. Our villain is taken out embarrassingly easy for a motivation that feels so unbelievably petty, and yet we don't even finish her off. We just send her off like she won't come back with a vengeance.
Again, I was pondering, Jova, if she was supposed to be if they wanted to hint the idea that eventually she will come back with a vengeance or something.
I would not be surprised in that regard if that were the case.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, those are probably part of the sequels Meyer had in mind, but again, those sequels haven't come out, so
That's the thing,
I
Jova.
demand to see those sequels.
Just like things like Arrow Man 2, this was just a movie to set things up.
I'm still hoping Stephanie Meyer will come out of her semi-retirement and say, "Guys, I'm back and I've got the scripts."
you know, part of me would have to just somewhat acknowledge the audacity if she actually does that. Now, I would have to also say good luck finding another movie studio that'll support adaptations.
Can you imagine this movie coming out today, like in today's climate?
Oh, if this movie...
Can you imagine Twitter's reactions to this movie?
Like, holy cow, no. If this had been released, like, in this present day, this movie would have been slaughtered by critics and viewers alike.
But doesn't every woman want to be kissed like that passionately? That's the argument, apparently.
You know,
God.
maybe Twilight...
No comment.
You know, maybe Twilight's success really can be attributed to the lightning in a bottle scenario where it was legit just the right place and right time.
Actually, give me a moment. I'll be right back.
Go on, Jova.
Okay. But, yeah, okay, even ignoring the terrible aspects of the romances, the actual partners in the relationships are bland and forgettable. You've got Ian, who falls in love with Wanda, you've got Jared, who's in love with Melanie, and in typical Meyer fashion, it completely perverts the idea of true love. Like, sure, okay, I can believe that Melanie did eventually develop feelings for Jared despite their very rough first meeting. Problem is, we skip over the actual development and it's just, oh, look at them in love, despite the fact that Melanie hits and bites Jared. And then there's Ian's bout with Melanie where he loves her personality so much, but yet again, we don't really get much chemistry. Heck, some of the romance between them is legit Wanda trying to use Ian to coax Melanie out. Like, damn. It's so surreal that Meyer thinks that we would find this charming. And yes, I say this having seen the Twilight stuff, but Like I said, I would argue this is even worse than Twilight as a whole. And Twilight was a sack. A sack of the most utter feces ever to be written on paper. But
In the meantime, Shiro, I just asked Vanessa about it. She
Mm-hmm.
said, "Here's her problem. She's got it in reverse. She says that, in my opinion, it's actually the guys who usually really want to be kissed passionately, and so there you go. That's what she says."
if
Go
I can
on.
give this movie one thing, it's not boring. In the sense that almost every second is filled with a wide gaping hole of stupidity that will just leave you constantly babbling and wondering, why is this happening? Why are you people this stupid? And then it comes down to the big story idea of, oh, well, the aliens are making lives better. Yeah, not only does that fly out the window because the story kind of forgets that, to the point where we're kind of going to the point of resistance, but even the actual argument does not hold up because maybe Meyer forgot, but these aliens are literally enslaving people.
Maybe
Yet-
Uncle Jeb got it wrong. Like he said, there's no violence, there's no whatever. Maybe what he was supposed to say was there's no intelligence, there's no common sense. Like that's the direct consequence of the alien invasion. But when the aliens invaded us, they removed common sense and logic out of the equation.
Maybe.
That's what happened.
Because, holy cow, no, this is terrible. The world building is terrible, the storytelling is terrible, the music is there. But, yeah, no, this movie was terrible. Quite possibly Meyer at her lowest point. What more can be said?
Well, maybe I can in this case if you're done, Drova.
Yes, cap us off, Tio.
That's my secret cap. Whatever. This is just okay. It's awful, but that begs ultimately the question: how does it compare with the Twilight franchise? On one hand, the Twilight has a bunch more movies instead of just one to rely upon, but arguably, it's also the fact that Twilight has a more fucked up theme that conveys. You can argue that this movie manages to package just in one a lot more bad things that the Twilight took this long to actually do it. So to me, like I said, it is what, like I said before, they're on the same level, but for different reasons altogether. And yet at the same time, they feel so similar as a product. Because Stephanie Meyer has her own isms in terms of writing, in terms of actually making stuff similar. Now, on a normal circumstances, those are not necessarily bad. Just noticing the fact that an author will writing similar traits, having common themes, loving common tropes, loving to say common phrases for their characters. It's a thing that depends ultimately on the person, again, under normal circumstances. Miss Meyer, however, unfortunately, loves to write about human relationships, and not in a particularly great way, because while she tries to explore things like in this case, for example, what truly is a human, how would be the human mind be pressured under these circumstances, what would be a superior race be tested about, the intricacies of the complexity of human as a body and their mind. They are explored in such a superficial and such disgusting way. And again, he also naively, because according to this story, love is just this magic asset that the humans possess. And they ultimately use it to save the day, that these aliens never encountered during their journeys through space while possessing giant spiders and all this such. And they are flabbergasted when they find it. Like Pedro mentioned, because I watched it with him most of the time, by the time we're recording this, Megato Musashi, outside of all the mecha action, employs similar ideas with the aliens encountering the human custom and discovering that they're not such bad people, but has a more point to it for the variety of reasons. The aliens are more, enamored and curious by the life of humans. They witness actions that they found contradicting through their propaganda, and most importantly, they do not go around, kissing and spraying people all over the place like idiots.
Imagine.
And to just because, someone that might have seen the anime might point it out, fucked up stuff still happens in Megato Musashi, but arguably it's a story that believes that they can take risks in trying to do that. Whether they succeed or not is up to you, but at least there is a basis to do it. Stephanie Meyer does not have one. She just dives into this pool, believing she will just basically make it because people will be able to understand her message. But the problem is, again, this message about the complete lack of consent about all these parties involved is just fucked up. I'm sorry. And again, it baffles me that, again, going back to what I said during his final thoughts, some people under videos like Chris Tagman's review mention comments, and I wanted to mention a couple, but I'll just stick to one in particular without making names. That mentions, quote unquote, I love the host. When I first saw it on Netflix, it became my comfort movie. The ending made me cry. I love you, sister. Crying emoji 3 times. I loved it. I'm sorry. Again, going through the best benefit of the doubt, this might be a movie's someone's first in the genre, both romance and sci-fi and everything. But I'm sad that your bad luck has led you to this, because I don't think there's even a reason for gatekeeping on the genre. There are plenty of sci-fi products that are easily newcomer friendly, and can just as easily introduce you to a vast array of different options for the genre, and are much better than this malarkey.
Coming back to the statement of this being sci-fi for people who don't like sci-fi, I don't even really.
That statement alone pains me, to say the least.
Okay, ignoring that, what about this movie really reflects that statement, though?
Stephanie Meyer bothered to mention in an interview, because to her degree, sci-fi products tend to be overly complex with stuff like math, equation, and over-explaining science. So basically, what she's saying is mostly, part of science fiction involves that stuff, like, for example, Star Trek. And I can understand if someone gets turned away because of the technobabble, potentially. I argue that Star Trek offers just as much in terms of humanity, compassion, diplomacy, and other emotion for people too. But let's say you're turned off by that. You have Star Wars. Fucking Star Wars is sci-fi for people who normally don't like sci-fi.
There's also
the whole argument done by Stephanie Meyer is just as dumb as all those fucking journalists that says X is the dark souls of Y, or this cel-shaded or cartoony looking game is like playing a Pixar movie.
So by that logic, because it doesn't focus much on math and whatnot, you're telling me Alien is sci-fi for people who don't like sci-fi
and emotions.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, actually, Taylor, that actually does boil down to what David Cage said about Detroit, because in him, Detroit is not really about AI and science and shit. It's about humans.
Which is weird, considering it has more in common with the actual original book version of I, Robot than anything. So I don't.
I actually wanted to mention something to you about what you said about the whole. I'm sad that that person who read the comment, you read the comment of, and shit like that. Mm-hmm. Because I actually said that you weren't in those playthroughs, so I'd like to mention. I did bring up a similar point to yours, Taylor, when we did our Life is Strange Before the Storm commentary, because through my own personal research and shit, I found someone who made an interesting comment that I mentioned on the commentary about how apparently one of the big reasons why this particular person really loves Chloe as a character is because, remember, the big deal with Chloe is that she had a new father thrown into her life.
Yes, I know.
Like
again, circumstances, society made her, but ultimately it was her choice to be who she became.
Yeah, and then, but that's the thing. The person in this comment even says, "I have never related to a video game character more than this one because I myself also had a father that was thrown into my life and all that shit. The father feelings, like everything. So I think Chloe's overall way of handling things is very well done and realistic. And I'm just like, I basically said the same thing similar to what you said, where it's just like, I mean, I'm sorry for, I don't know how your situation was, but the truth of the matter is that this is not really a good portrayal of this particular issue. Same thing here.
Sometimes it's weird to speak on because that might be their legit experience with that kind of thing.
Again, while it's not applicable to me, Pedro. This is why I try to stay away from Life is Strange, because I do believe it's more of a murky territory than just blindly loving it or hating it, for its themes. But again, that's not here nor there. Again, I'm sorry. This is, well, I will say I will disagree with views on the pace. Well, while it is admittedly a bit slow-paced, this is still the entertainment value in riffing on it makes the experience go through a breeze. When me, Joe, and Sheer recently did with Jade the Generations of Battlefield Earth, and that still feels like a slog, despite everything. So yeah, if you want to have a good time and just laugh at it, sure. Be mindful about its themes, though, if you can potentially have a trigger warning about them. But again, on one hand, it's a good thing that no more adaptations or books are being made. As Pedro mentioned, there's a bit of fascination in potentially seeing a future for these. But frankly, for the time being, I'm glad that at least on the movie industry, Stephanie Meyer is not profiting anymore. At least there's one less for the time being. Who knows?
Is the host. What was supposed to be the start of a franchise may have been the overall death of Stephanie Meyer's mainstream career.
Amazing Grace in the bagpipes. Anyway, that's pretty much it for the host. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, the only connection left to Twilight in the future will be the 50 Shades movie, but I don't really have much of a hurry, especially because instead, this is also a perfect start. Instead, because this was our first April movie, and soon enough we'll have also Shira's birthday to see what awaits us. But this is also the start of a small project, as in, while not on a constant level, since we did started in 2013, like we mentioned with in our practical guide, and technically the group formed as a whole in April 2014, roughly, mind you. Throughout this period between this April and the end of the next year, we will try to have a sort of revisitation or follow-up to most of the oldest stuff that we have. Ideally, it is not guaranteed, you might see in April a couple of generations of like we did last year. But throughout the rest of the year, you might see maybe a revisitation or two for the series that we did in the past. Who knows what happened, but again, considering these our gift for our 10-year anniversary celebration milestone, similar to what Linkara did for his. So until then, enjoy the rest of April. See ya.
See ya.
See ya.